Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. This is Redstone Gamer, Son of a Podcast, episode 40. Today's date, June 10th, 2012. And I'm your host, DJ Mizuhara. And in Yokohama, we have...
Steve Christofferson.
We're on first name terms now, eh? Am I your mother?
Did I just give you my last name?
Yeah, I just give you your last name.
How you doing?
Hey, how you doing?
Sagittarius.
So, great. And what's your star sign, Elliot?
My star sign is Cancer.
Ah.
Yeah, I'm a crab.
You're right. I'm Sagittarius also.
I'm all alone.
Hey. So, yeah, welcome to episode 40. We should be having a party, right?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. We meant to have Kyle, but Kyle, just didn't answer me for, 6 hours now, so I guess he's either still busy with moving his house or something. I don't know. But,
Probably
yeah.
dived into the internets head first.
Well, yeah, he's got internet now. He's got internet connection because he went, woo, internets or real internets. But, yeah, I don't know where he went. He just didn't reply, so I guess he's busy.
He's busy based on how often he pops up on Twitter, and he hasn't popped up on Twitter for ever.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, so he's mad busy. So I'm sorry for those people who were kind of rejoicing, going, "Yay, Kyle's back!"
Kyle's fan club.
you can switch off now because he's not here. So maybe next week. So you might want to come back for episode 41.
Feel free to donate your money, as always, though.
Yeah, we have no donate button, so don't worry about that. Steven's just joking.
Throw your money at the monitor. Don't let it hit you on the way back.
Yeah. So, opening question, Steven. Do you have an opening question for us?
I do.
Go for it.
Oh
Surprise us, right?
Pop the question.
Surprise us.
Okay, well, I would like to... I'm going to go a completely different direction, because so it doesn't all blur into one big train wreck of slice of life.
Okay.
Concerned.
So I want you to share with me an indulgence story that's related to Japan. So something you do to treat yourself in Japan, and it's something you can only do here.
Huh.
So, and you're like, what?
Okay.
So I got my ears lowered today.
Hey, that's a UK term.
That's a UK term. What did I do?
You got a haircut?
I got a haircut.
I was so confused there for a second. I was like, plastic surgery?
Yeah. You can only do that in Japan.
Okay. Phew.
Yeah. No, so I got a haircut today, and I love Japanese haircuts in Japan. And you can actually go and just go on the cheap and do like 1,000 yen haircut. But I always spend the big bucks. Even though I don't have long hair, I go in and whip out the cash and just get the full experience. And if you've all been to like the quintessential Japanese barbershop experience, or if you go to a proper salon for the first time, you usually walk out and you're just like, what just happened? I mean,
you feel like you're just wearing a new suit, right?
It's like getting your cherry popped in a way. With this, so I went to this place, and in Japan they will shampoo your hair twice. You don't you get it once in the beginning, and you get one at the end, which kind of blows your mind coming from the States. So you don't get anything like that. And you also, they give you an oshibori.
What's an
oshibori, guys?
Was that?
I don't know.
No.
Oshibori?
Don't know?
Hot towel?
Oh, the hot towel. All right. Okay. Sorry. Hot towel.
Yes.
Oh, you mean like the Arnold Schwarzenegger, right? When he puts a towel around his head in Total Recall.
Right. So there's this in Japan, when you have the oshibori towels, it's considered really bad manners to wipe anywhere other than your front of your face. Yep. And they'll if you wipe anywhere else, they usually call you osan kusai.
Oh, that's why my daughter calls me that then. I've always wondered why. Because I always wipe the back of my neck.
Right.
And my daughter always calls me Oji-san.
Right. So, but this, one of the shampoo girls, because they usually have the people in the Japanese salons who are newest to the place, are the ones who wash the hair.
Yes.
So she takes out this steaming hot towel and gives it to you. And
is it out of the microwave?
And she's got these salad
Tongs?
spoons, and she pulls it out.
Yeah.
It's steaming hot.
Right.
Hands it to you. And then after you completely wipe it, you're thinking, oh, I just want to wipe the back of the neck. I just want to wipe the back of the neck. But you're like, no, I don't want to. Can't do it. But so I give it back to her, and what she always does is she'll wipe the back of your neck with it.
Yep.
It just is so amazing.
It seems like kind of complicated process, but no.
But it's a thing where it's like they know what you want and they give it to you, and it's very quiet and nothing is communicated, and just always walk out of there blown away and then after that they usually set you back down after they do your second shampoo, and they'll give you like a 10-minute massage.
Yeah, the massage I was going to say. Yep.
And the challenge is always to engage them in whatever ludicrous conversation you have, just so you can get as long of a massage out as possible.
Which isn't hard as a foreigner, because sometimes they'll be inquisitive.
She wanted to study overseas, so I was like, oh yeah, here a little bit of this, here a little bit of that, anecdote over here, and then I
keep going
out of it. And it's one of those things I just love coming to Japan. This place also gives you like a little plushie, a little pillow toy that you can like hold on to when they're cutting your hair, so it's like you have extra comfort.
Is it like a big Hatsune Miku pillow?
Yeah.
You put it between your legs and hold it.
Right.
That sounds creepy.
Yes. I shouldn't tell my indulges then, right? Oops.
But yeah, it's just the hot towel, the waking up of the scalp, with the shampoo before cutting the hair, and then afterwards the shampoo, and then the 10-minute massage, the plushie pillow. It's wonderful. Love Japan.
It is a beautiful thing, right? You walk out of there. But to be honest, I had my hair done. I spend about 1 yen on my head every time I go.
Well, you got dyes and stuff?
I get it dyed and stuff, and I don't just get it like my ears lowered. I get it like styled and stuff. So yeah, I pay about 1 yen, about 10,000 yen. So that's about $120, I guess, in US.
Whoa.
So yeah, I spend the money.
You don't do that. Like I'll get mine every 3 or 4 weeks, right?
Right. No, I do mine like
$50
every 3 months. So,
okay. So that doesn't come out to be all that much.
No, it's not. It's not too bad. But yeah, I had mine done recently, and every time this woman, she does the head massage you were talking about before, right? So she's put the hot towel on you, or she puts the hot towel around your neck, and then she starts to give you the head massage. This massage went on for about 15 minutes, and then after about 10 minutes, I had a headache. It was just so intense. It was so long, and I was like, "Oh my god!" I actually asked her to stop because I said, "Yeah, I got a bit of a headache," and she was like, "Oh, okay." Yeah, so
that is a problem I just don't understand.
No, I think she had fingers like she'd been playing the piano since she was like 1, so she had really strong fingers.
But they usually don't they usually ask you if it's too strong or not?
She asked me if the water was too hot, but she didn't ask me if the massage was too much. But yeah, after about 10 minutes, I had a headache, so I was like, no, I need to stop. So yeah, so I asked her to stop, and yeah, so that was that. But yeah, no, going to a Japanese hair salon and getting the massage is a wonderful thing, and you never get it anywhere else.
Run of Japan, I don't know if you guys had that franchise where they have like the that grill on an iron. It's like an iron plate set into a table, and they fix all the steak right in front of you. That's the only time I've gotten a hot towel in my life up until coming to a Japanese barbershop. So I felt like I was a mistake, but it was awesome.
I don't know. What blew my mind the first time I went to a barbershop in Japan was just like the first time I kind of lived in sort of the middle of nowhere. And I was a little bit nervous because I didn't know the specific like terms for cutting your hair, like, you know, size of the blades, stuff like that. So I was a young guy at the time, and I go there and they're cutting my hair, and then they bring out this huge machine, right? And I guess this is what they used to give massages at that specific barbershop. And they put this huge machine on my back and just turn it on, and it's like vibrating. And I was so confused.
Oh, I've been to a place that had that before once.
And it felt amazing. But I was like, oh my god, how much money am I going to have to spend for this? Like, I didn't ask for them to,
You're sweating the whole time wondering how much cash you got to fork.
Oh no, like, I did not bring that much cash with me. And then it turned out to be like 1,500 yen, which, comes out to like 17, 18, maybe $20.
For the whole thing, or just that?
For the whole thing.
Oh, okay.
And that same time, actually, they shaved, they didn't just shave, my chin, my sideburns and stuff. They shaved my entire face.
Did they shave your forehead and your ears?
Yeah, they shaved my forehead and my ears. And again, I was also scared there that I'd be paying extra money. But no, it's just part of the deal. And I walked out of there feeling like $100. It was crazy.
Yeah.
It just felt so nice.
It's good, right?
Yeah, they got samurai precision when they're shaving ears and everything like that.
Totally do.
But I don't know, it feels like hair has grown back where it shouldn't be after they started doing that, so
hair that you
suspicious.
That's why.
Yeah, it's good. Good. Okay, so Elliot, indulgences?
Okay. For me, it's definitely got to be my my newly reborn love for arcades. I come from the northeast of America, and by the time I was 13, I want to say, arcades were dead over there.
Right.
Which is a shame because I have a lot of really fond memories of going to the arcade with my mom or my dad or even my sister and just playing light gun games like Time Crisis or just fooling around, just really good memories of just having fun. And after coming here, I just kind of remembered how much I really loved arcades and the feeling and the environment, and especially here in Japan where you go up onto a floor that, let's say, it has a bunch of fighting games, right? And just the atmosphere amongst fellow video game players is just, I don't know, it's very easy to just go up to someone at an arcade and start chatting them up about whatever game you're playing together.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, there's something about that. There's something to say for...
You're saying that in Japan, though?
In Japan, yeah.
Because, I don't know, when you go up to everyone's sitting in their own seat, they're not really engaged with anybody, whereas, the States you stand and play, and it's more easy. I felt it was always more easy to talk with people.
Well, I don't know. When I play a match, if I lose, I always go around and I shake the guy's hand and start talking to him a little bit if he's not playing against someone else immediately. Or, you have people...
You shake his hand, really?
Yeah, I shake his hand. I also say hello to, any old people I walk by on the street. That's just, programmed into me. But, yeah, I come from a kind of a small area, so, the game center isn't that big. And so you'll have people standing up around the machines all the time waiting for their turn. And, while you're standing there, you just start chatting them up about, certain moves or combos and stuff. And I just found them really, really easy to approach. And I don't know, I like it a lot. That kind of dark, dim, almost a little bit, sketchy atmosphere is appealing to me for some reason. But, yeah, I like Japanese arcades a lot.
Sounds good.
You love Tokyo, my friend.
I know.
So, have you actually met any, friends that you have now from standing in the arcade?
Yeah, I met a few acquaintances, actually. I haven't seen them enough to really say friends, but, definitely people I know and play with all the time. Yeah.
That's awesome.
It's very cool.
Yes.
Have you tried any of the card games yet?
I have not, but I've always...
The Sengoku Taisen has been eating at me.
I've always wanted to try, Lord of... It's Square Enix's card game.
It's like a playing field, and you put your cards down, and you're moving them real time and directing troops like the Generalissimo, moving them around.
They have a soccer game just like that too, with a huge screen and everything.
Yeah, they've got just tons of. It's like a whole floor practically nowadays.
I feel like people out west don't know anything about this genre of games.
Exactly.
But basically, you have a screen, and most of these are multiplayer. You have a screen in front of you, and you have this open area on the game cabinet, and you buy cards and you put them on this area, and it senses what type of cards you have. So if you have a knight, let's say, it'll scan the card and see that it's a knight, and it'll appear on the screen, and you can move them around by moving the cards around on the game cabinet. And it's crazy looking, but I've never played it before.
Is this what people are talking about when they talk about Skylanders?
I think so. Yeah.
But this is in the arcade, right?
Yeah.
And this has been in the arcade in Japan for
a while,
3 years or so.
A while. It was, at the very least, it was there when I studied abroad some 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah.
So it's been a while.
Because usually they'll have a whole separate shop and separate from the arcade or adjacent to it. You can go in and you can just, it's like a hobby shop except all cards.
Yeah, for those games.
You can buy your cards and they go anywhere from, couple hundred yen, a couple bucks, all the way up to $100 for a single card.
Yep, and these games are like across demographics. You know, they have versions for like kids with like Gundam and like Dragon Ball.
Yeah, I saw the Dragon Ball ones. My daughter plays pE3lings. She plays that one. Yeah.
But then you have like, you know, the War of like the Three Kingdoms, or like the, you know, Sengoku Jidai stuff, or, you know,
the Three
Square
Kingdoms
Enix
ones
games.
look good. Yeah.
Yeah, they do. But I mean, yeah, it's just
tempted.
this big genre here that people really seem to love, and I'm betting Nintendo is probably going to try and capitalize that on a little bit.
Well, that's on the Wii U. You saw that they have that like IC scanner on the front of the Wii
same
U.
technology.
So I think that's what they're going to be doing. There's definitely games going to be coming along that utilize this kind of technology, and they're definitely coming. Yeah, because it's the
Seems
first,
like it's a gold mine.
yeah, it's the first thing I noticed when I looked at the controller. But you know, when they did that Nintendo Direct, and it was the first thing I noticed. So I went, oh my god, it's got an IC chip reader in it. They're going to be doing these card games that are all over Japan and everyone's playing.
Yeah, because up till now there's no way to port them.
Yep.
So it's just like they're arcade only.
Yeah, so that's common. I haven't got a problem with it because I mean the kids, they all seem to really enjoying it.
They look fun.
Yeah, it and it looks a lot of fun. So, but it also looks extremely expensive because you see the kids outside of the video game stores and stuff with like a whole box full of these cards, and you look at them and go, "How much money have you spent on all of those cards?" Because I mean, they walk in and they don't buy one packet of cards; they walk in and buy like 20. 20 packets
And then
of cards.
they just go through them.
Yeah.
And they chuck out all the ones that they don't need.
Yeah. You can see them outside of the stores going, got, need,
They don't
got,
even
got.
have gum in them, which is, like, for a Westerner, that's unheard of.
Yeah. But you see them, like, outside of the video game store. There's always a trash box. And the trash box is literally full of these cards, either cards that they've already got or just the packaging. And it's like, oh, my God, how much money are these kids spending?
A lot of common cards that they don't need.
Yeah, but they're everywhere, right? So, yeah, I mean, I've started to get that as well because my daughter buys the pE3lings, which is a Japanese girls anime show. Yeah, so I've already fallen into this well, and I'm kind of dreading it.
Have fun with that.
And well, yeah, it was now she's on a Pokemon trip as well now.
Okay.
So
stepping up in the world.
So
I don't know, but with all those cards, it like teaches them how to keep organized and take care of their things and stay neat. And you know, all the kids are waiting in lines have got their like almost like they're carrying like a little chihuahua inside, but they're all their cards in their little case.
I was sitting in my car once outside of a video game store, and I walked in, and I saw this kid buying cards. And I'd be finished in the store. I'd come back out, and I was in my car, and I was reading something on my phone or something. And then he comes out of the store, and then he knocks on my window in the car, and I'm like, okay, what's going on? So I dropped the window down, and I ask him what's up, and he says to me, I spent all my money. I can't get home. Can you give me some money? And I was like, you cheeky bastard. You just spent all your money on your cards. And he literally said, I can't get home. And I was like, yeah, man, sorry about that. I can't help you out. I was like, you cheeky little bastard. I just seen you in the store just buying all of these cards.
And really? That's crazy.
I've never
very crass.
I've never heard of. I've never seen that before.
To come up to you.
I'm surprised he came up to the foreigner.
Well, no, I saw him. He walked around the entire car park, asking people. I mean, even people not even in the cars. Like even people who were walking past, asking people for money so he could get home.
Trick or treat.
But that's the first time I've seen anyone ask for money, other than like a homeless person. Who only target foreigners, you know, for some money. But yeah, that was kind of surprising. So I was like, wow, okay. But yeah, it's all good, I guess. It's all good. So my indulgence. Have you ever heard of something called kappa sushi?
Yeah, kappa sushi.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. You mean the chugga chugga sushi?
Chugga. Yeah. Well, it seems like a ritual now in my family. We go because it's the conveyor belt sushi, right, which goes around.
Kaiten sushi.
Yeah, which the conveyor belt goes all around the store. You can obviously just take what you want, and it's all depending on what you take. Each plate is a different color, so that's how they add up how much it is at the end of the day. So someone comes to your
They have
your
a
table.
chip inside actually embedded in the plate, right?
No,
No, it's just a plate.
They're just a plate, just the color.
And you just stack them at the end.
They just stack
Oh,
them and then
they
count
don't
them.
do
So like a red
reader?
plate is the red plate is like 100 yen, and the blue plate is 120 yen, and the yellow plate is like 150. So they just come and count them and then add them up
they
at the
count
end.
them. Okay, some places just put a reader on it and read them all.
Right.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So basically, it's just conveyor belt sushi, but they also have this like this Shinkansen
Oh yeah.
where you can do special orders.
Yeah.
And
Nice.
so you've got this regular conveyor belt which goes all around the store, and on each row, where basically everyone's like on these bench seats. So you can order your own specific food from a menu from a touch panel. And my daughter, she won't pick anything off the conveyor belt. Everything's got to come by the Shinkansen.
Wow.
So she just even though it's on the conveyor belt and she sees it goes past, she wants to put it on the Shinkansen. So basically, you order your food, and whoever the chefs get the order, and they put the food on the Shinkansen, and it comes directly to your table, and it delivers it to you when you take it off, and it then obviously returns back to the kitchen. But yeah, my daughter, she likes the Shinkansen, so I guess that's mine, I guess, because it happens so often now. And
like a ritual, something.
Yeah, it's like a
forward
ritual.
to.
Yeah, so it happens all the time now. So and I can't imagine it happening in any other country because, okay, you might have the conveyor belt sushi. Conveyor belt sushi is fairly common now in the West, but I don't know about.
Oh, really? I've not seen it yet.
Oh, it's very common in England, especially because when I went back to my father's funeral, there's like Yo Sushi and stuff, which is all over the UK now. Well, it's a chain store called Yo Sushi, and they're conveyor belts. But I've never seen one which is like a personal one that's delivered to you personally via a Shinkansen. So
I've only actually ever seen that at Kappazushi, that specific chain.
Oh, really?
Because we have a conveyor belt. We have a few conveyor belt sushi places down here in the city, and none of them have the like special delivery little train. Like you can order stuff separately, and they'll like deliver it to you, but no, train track that runs around the restaurant. But there is a Kappazushi here, and they do have the Shinkansen. So I think it's like a store chain only sort of thing.
Ah, okay. No, that's cool. I really dig it, and my daughter loves it, so that's my indulgence, I guess.
Nice. Aww.
Awesome.
Right. Okay. So let's kick off into E3. You don't sound too enthused.
Best ever.
What's going on, Elliot?
So hyped.
You were hyped, right? You were hyped going into this, yes?
I had my doubts. Kept my expectations low and still managed to come out disappointed.
You did? Okay. So,
Right.
the reasons for being disappointed. Okay, so on the Monday morning, Nintendo did a Nintendo Direct explaining the Wii U controller or their gamepad.
Yes.
So, did you watch it?
It
was at 7 a.m. in the morning in Japanese time.
I didn't watch it live, no.
Didn't watch it live.
Okay, yeah, I watched it live. It was pretty flaccid.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's not exactly the best thing to wake up to, is it, Stephen?
That's a loaded question. Yes. No.
It's flaccid in the morning. It's not morning wood yet. Morning glory, no.
What are we talking about?
Wii U?
Oh, okay.
Or your Wii?
Your wee.
Anyway.
Your Wii was flaccid. Yes, anyways, carry on. Did Nintendo sell you on this thing, or what?
Me personally, I thought the Nintendo Direct, it wasn't particularly exciting, but I was glad that it seemed as though they were doing all of the explanation of the console's features before E3.
Yes.
I thought it was a smart idea. Like, get this out of the way so you can just cover games later, For now, get all these sort of technical details out of the way, which was, interesting, I think. I wasn't sold on the system yet because, again, a system comes down to games, but I was intrigued. I didn't really buy like the second. I didn't really buy the touchscreen controller, and I still kind of don't. But it's interesting from the very least. But
okay, it was interesting. So I mean, when Nintendo said, they were trying to explain the controller itself, and you were thinking, okay, so they're getting everything out of the way so they can wow us at E3 with their conference.
Exactly. I mean, the message there seemed pretty clear. Like, we're going to do this now, so we don't have to do any of that boring crap later.
Right. And then the conference came, and it failed?
Yeah. I think maybe we should save Nintendo for last and go to Microsoft, because, yeah.
Yeah. So, okay, so Stephen, what did you think of the Wii Pad? I mean, it's still not multi-touch.
Nothing really has changed, and then the only thing we were kind of holding out on is just that: is it going to be multi-touch?
Well, they added analog sticks. They're not sliders
awesome,
anymore.
That's right, and that's really big. I just sort of assumed that was going to happen.
Yeah, it looks like they've realized that you need analog sticks instead of slide pads.
The slider works on the 3DS, but for console experience, I definitely wanted the analog sticks.
I mean, if they're gonna try to match the specs of the current gens for PS3 and Xbox, it seems slide pads don't seem to be the way to go. If you're going to be playing like Assassin's Creed or something like that.
Don't be different just to be different.
Right.
I think you got to man up and just read what works, and then shamelessly borrow that. That's fine. I think once it becomes the acceptable industry standard.
No one feels bad about borrowing the D-pad. Like,
right.
No, they don't.
It is what it is. Yeah.
And so it's still not multi-touch, which it was, to me, was a letdown, because it's just a big Nintendo 3DS or DS.
That was a big talking point that we had for a long time, Martin. Like they were the initial outlash of like people unhappy that it's not going to be the multi-touch, and then that was like 5 months ago, and they were like, well, they have time to address it. They're probably going to listen to what everybody said, and it didn't happen.
Well, it looked like, from the videos that they were showing, it had a little bit more emphasis on actually touching it with your finger. Because last time it just seemed to be all stylus. But in the video that they're showing, they were using stylus and finger touches as well.
I think realistically speaking, in a handheld, it's fine to do that. But when you're holding a controller and looking at the screen and looking at the actual controller itself, you need to be able to use your fingers.
Yeah. You can't.
I do that with my 3DS too, and it's just more comfortable that way a lot of the time. If it's not like a stylus-intensive game, I just touch with my finger.
Right. Yeah. Me too. I don't. I try not to use the stylus because it's not conducive to playing a game and holding the stylus as well and holding the controller.
Exactly. Yeah.
It just doesn't work. So when you've got this
big, that 6.2 inch screen, and holding it with one hand.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, so it still doesn't quite make sense. So I'm not too sure why. I mean, they say, it's more precise. Is that really necessary? Well, they do have like applications where you can draw on the screen, right? So I mean, okay, it's okay for that, but for games, I don't want to be using a stylus in games. I don't want to be holding a controller and have a stylus in my hand at the same time, or playing and then go, stylus time, and then try and grab the stylus from within the controller and then pull it out, and then that's finished now, and then putting it back in and then going back into the game, because it's stupid. It doesn't make sense. You just want to be able to push it with your finger, right?
Yeah, and I mean, when you think about it, a lot of the stuff that the stylus was used for on the handhelds was for third-person action games, first-person shooters, things to control the camera, typically. And obviously you're not going to have to do that on the Wii U because you have a second analog stick, so there's no point. So, I don't know. I don't anticipate that you're going to have to use the stylus a whole lot. I mean, there's not a whole lot of applications for it outside of like drawing on the screen and doing very specific secondary screen-related things.
Right. So this Nintendo Direct thing, did it make you look forward to their press conference? Because it made me go, yes, because I'm going to get hit with games now.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely did. I woke up, I checked Twitter to see what the general impression seemed to be, and it was, hardware information, all this stuff, and that got me psyched. Because, okay, Nintendo knows what they're doing here. They know they have to really talk about games
Right.
at their conference, and that's what everybody wants them to do. And it looks like they're actually going to do it. Awesome.
Right. Okay. Good. Okay, so we'll leave that there then and hit Microsoft then, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, so the Microsoft, they had one Japanese game.
Yeah.
Which is more than Sony had. Sony had
valid point.
Sony had no Japanese games whatsoever, which was
to be fair,
go on.
This Microsoft game, this game that was at the conference, is also being partially handled by like Western companies as well, with like Japanese overseeing them. So
you're talking about Resident Evil Biohazard, right?
Yes, I am. So it's still kind of like Japanese-ish.
So what Western influence?
Well, I was
is
watching the Xbox. There's a website, and he always covers all these Japanese or Western games, and then he translates them in Japanese. And he saw Resident Evil, and he's like, Kokusan ka yatto, and then like, which is like, a Japanese developed game finally. I'm like, what? That's not Japanese developed game.
So
who is developing Biohazard then?
It's Capcom developing Biohazard, but like they're pulling outsourcing here and there, that kind of thing. Kind of like just how Capcom has been doing it, period, with all of their games as of late. But it's not a Western developed game, but it's just pulling a lot of Western resources and that kind of thing.
Right.
Capcom's a very international company in that way, but still,
Okay, so Microsoft had the only Japanese demo of obviously Microsoft and Sony, and it was Biohazard. So I wasn't impressed.
They had that trailer first.
Yeah.
The trailer looked pretty good.
Yeah.
And then I watched the gameplay, like the demo, and then I was really sad.
Yeah, I was really sad that the fact that it kept pulling you out to the game and going like either QTE or a set piece,
which sounds funny coming from a group of people who really liked Ashura's Wrath, but like
but that's not what Biohazard is.
Yeah, exactly.
Biohazard isn't that to keep pulling you out and doing QTEs and other pre-rendered stuff where you've got no control and you just sit there and watch it. That's not Biohazard, is it?
No, honestly though, the thing that got me the most out of that entire demo, the thing that made me laugh, there's a sequence where there's a bunch of zombies running up the stairs.
Yes.
And Chris is like taking cover behind like a wall. And you're just kind of watching, you're like, why is Chris taking cover? I mean, not Chris, Leon. Why is Leon taking cover when they're just zombies running up the stairs? Like, this is not a cover shooter.
Right.
This is Resident Evil. What are you doing?
And not only that, he takes cover and then he throws a grenade.
He throws a grenade, yeah. And you're like, you could have just thrown the grenade. You didn't have to take cover. They're not going to shoot at you.
Exactly. But not only that, they just all disappeared. I mean, okay, yeah, they were blown to bits, but all of the bits and body parts, they just disappeared. And I was like, really?
Yeah.
And it just didn't look good. The zombies didn't look like scary.
Yeah.
Their animations were really bad.
The biggest disappointment with that whole demo was that they had said, that Leon's part of the game, and this could just be the demo. I'm only speaking from what I can see, but they said that Leon's part of the game would be closer to what we remember as sort of Resident Evil. Like it'd be more focused on kind of the horror aspects, that kind of thing.
Right.
Looking at this demo, at the very least, did not give me that impression at all. Like it seemed just as action heavy, huge set pieces as the Chris side of the story. So.
Right. Yeah. I wasn't impressed at all. I was to be honest, I felt let down.
Especially that sequence at the end when he's running and the cars are exploding, and you're just like, "What? This is not Resident Evil."
Yeah, I just didn't feel it at all. So yeah, I was pretty let down with that. Yeah, and then the Microsoft went on to show a load of Kinect stuff, which I don't think anyone was really interested because that was like they showed that last year.
Some TV stuff.
I'm just happy that they showed Halo first, and then they had the long on parade of just stuff I wasn't interested in, and I just kept watching that ad nauseum. I like the fact that they went out strong first rather than holding all the good stuff till the end. They've done that in the past. Yeah,
normally they start off with like the Call of Duty first, but they left that to the end. They started with the Halo and then finished with the Call of Duty. So that was good. But everything else in between was just like, just honestly, horse manure.
The Microsoft conference was by far, like, as disappointed as I was with all the conferences, like, Microsoft was the most boring to me because they were just talking about tons of things I just didn't care about. Starting with
You're
Halo
not a
4,
Western gamer, though, right?
Yeah, but they didn't even have games, really, at all. I mean, like, Call of Duty and Halo 4, yeah, but everything in between was just not even remotely related to games, you know? It was about their sort of media hub that they were building. And
Yes.
I mean, that's the big joke. Microsoft had no games, like, literally. You know, they had Halo 4 and Black Ops 2 and some Just Dance and stuff like that, but...
Oh, what was that Usher doing?
Gear of War. They did Forza. They did...
But I mean, you know, these
Ascend New Gods look pretty interesting.
like a lot of the stuff that, you know, this is things we already sort of knew about or already had gotten leaked, so like the excitement wasn't there, you know.
Yeah, I don't understand why they had to show like the Kinect now does languages. I was like, really?
Yep.
I like
Everything's
that
better
Laura
with Kinect.
Croft is going like up against like Uncharted for the PS3 or something.
Well, that's a multi-platform game, so that doesn't count.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, if that was like an exclusive to Xbox, maybe the DLC is exclusive, but the game itself is not. It's multi-platform, so
Right.
whether or not Microsoft show that, it doesn't really matter because
Yeah,
it's
they just got it for the presentation.
exactly. So
Right.
I don't understand it.
I guess we just have to get through the press conference stuff because I mean, in the end, it's all going to be a lot of it was playable form on the floor,
Yeah.
which is really what's kind of interesting to me.
Yeah. I mean, I think that these big companies had a real big opportunity to like impress people, and they decided not to. I don't understand the direction.
But they're not trying to impress people. Aren't they trying to like pay homage to the people who are going to bring the most money to their
Well, you still got to impress somebody to spend their money.
That's true. You know, when they bring Usher in to like perform at E3 2012, like who are they trying to impress with that? You know, are they trying to impress the journalists there? Because I don't buy that.
No.
You know, people from Destructoid or Giant Bomb or 1UP or GameSpot or wherever are seeing Usher perform on stage and thinking, great.
That's
like,
for the
awesome.
casual people, right? That's for people like CNN to put out on there. You know, ooh, look at Usher. Usher's doing a game. You know what I mean? It's like that's just for the casual
Well, like
market.
his whole dance was right. He actually learned that dance from the game, right? Is I guess the whole thing. So if that's how well you can dance if you learn how to play the game really well. Is I think they were trying like for people who can't dance, but like through the game, this is what you can do. Which is really still pretty placid.
Well, it's quite funny because I've heard of people who have Dance Central, and the dances that they've learned in Dance Central, they've used them in nightclubs when they've gone out.
Right.
So yeah, I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but what I'm saying is that's just obviously for the casual market.
I mean, the whole thing felt like they were just delaying the inevitable next console. Like they were just like, okay, well, here's a bunch of stopgaps and things we're doing here, and then next conference we'll have something big, kind of thing. I don't know. Like Microsoft's conferences for the past few years have felt really flaccid to me. Period. Like in terms of the choices they make in terms of what they focus on. But again, you know, this is coming from a gamer, so
yeah. I mean, they're trying to like bring entertainment to the living room, right?
Yeah.
One centralized area, and that's if you look at it from that perspective, like they're not making stupid choices, but from a hardcore gamer's perspective, it's not very entertaining.
It's bad because, you know,
but
gaming isn't doing great right now,
right?
You know, so it feels like they should be focusing on that as well because it's not doing great.
But that's what it's all about, though. E3 is about gaming, right?
Not anymore, really.
I mean, that's supposed to be.
It's supposed to be. It's the main focus.
Because there are other hubs to talk about technology, you know?
Yeah, that's what CES is for, right?
Yeah.
I would like to believe that.
You do that at
like
CES?
everything's encroaching and it's becoming just one big brouhaha.
You're definitely right on that. I mean, that's what it's becoming. I just don't think that's what it's supposed to be or should be.
Right, no. Yeah, I've got a problem with it as well, so but that's coming from a gamer as well.
Not so much. I have a hard time caring about a lot of this media stuff because we're in Japan where we can't get any of it anyway. So it's just kind of like, oh,
Well, even if they do offer it to us, it's like a half-assed offering as well.
Exactly, yeah.
I mean, because Xbox Live in Japan's a joke compared to what the States offer, right? And same as like the PlayStation Network, that's a joke compared to what the States and Europe get.
Yeah.
Yet we're still paying the same money, yet we don't get half the features.
Exactly. So I always, with that type of stuff, I'm just kind of like,
you're a second-class citizen of that whole thing.
Exactly.
Well, it's really unfortunate because we're foreigners living in this country, and we see what the West is getting, and then you look at what we're offered, and it's like, really? Because if you hop on over to the PlayStation conference, Sony offered this basically this upgrade for PlayStation Plus members, where they got like 12 free games if you're a PlayStation
like
Plus member,
or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. So for this month for June, you got like 12 fully fledged games that you can download. I mean, eight of them are like $60 games.
Yep.
You can download them and they're free if you're a PlayStation Plus member. But Japan, we didn't get anything.
Nothing.
Absolutely nothing. Yet we're still paying the same amount of money, if not more, for PlayStation Plus.
Pretty sure it adds up to more.
With the crappy exchange rates as it is, we get nothing.
That's why you guys got to get an IP blocker and then just
that doesn't work on the PlayStation.
That's an account over here.
It just sucks that you have to go around all that stuff, you know? Like, in the first place, like, I just preferred if Japan actually got their shit together with that kind of thing. But, yeah, you know.
But that's like, we know that's not going to happen.
Exactly, yeah. I've come to terms with that.
Well, it was the same thing
10 years ago.
It was the same thing with, you remember when the network was hacked and it was down? But we were down for like 2 weeks longer than everybody else.
That was the government's fault, though, because the government's so freaking stingy.
But when it came back up, what they offered was also really bad as well compared to what everyone else got. Do you not remember what we were offered?
I don't remember it because I was that disinterested in it.
Yeah, well, it was like Loco Roco, like I think it's a screensaver or something stupid like that. we got junk compared to what they got in the West. And then they're doing it again with PlayStation Network. The games we got nothing, where everyone else got upgrades. It sounds like I'm just an old fart just whining about
bombs. Yeah,
but it's true. I mean, why don't we get what everyone else is getting? We're paying the same money, if not more. Don't we have a right to be like questioning why they do this?
Oh, we have been questioning it for a long time. I mean,
that's what I'm saying. So other people
just go in circles.
Other people outside of Japan, they don't know this. They just they see what they're getting. Oh, this is great, but we don't. So I mean, that's why I've got a US PlayStation Plus account.
Exactly. Yeah.
But I'd rather be putting my money into the Japanese
market. Yeah.
Into the Japanese market, because
it's where we live.
It's where we live. I mean, Christ, it needs it. I mean, the economy's crap over here. It needs it. You know, it needs the money. And I'm not putting money into the industry. It's not good. The PlayStation Minis are not even in Japan.
Yeah, the Minis are missing in action.
Then they're not here. Yeah, I don't get it. Really don't get it. And I'm extremely upset that Sony continue to do this. I'd like to know the reasoning behind it. So
commercialization, making sure that the money funnels into the right pockets, all that stuff. I mean, that I don't think they can solve.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
I think it's just big business things, and that licensing, all those things that like a typical we can't wrap our heads around unless you're on the insider. Yeah. But it stinks. It stinks bad. PU.
Anyways, okay, let's get to the PlayStation, the conference itself.
Yeah.
It opened up with Beyond.
Yeah.
Then it was the Smash game, right?
Yeah, Battle Royale. Yes.
And that had some Vita connectivity, which was good.
Yeah, some Vita love because it's going to be on the Vita.
Yeah.
It looks like a lot of fun. Definitely.
And then they did a quick sizzle reel. Well, it wasn't even a sizzle reel. They said, here's Call of Duty on the Vita, and everyone was like, "Ray, Call of Duty!" And then it was a logo, and it was like, okay,
done.
Is that it? And then they did Assassin's Creed,
which looked really cool, but was about 10 seconds.
10 seconds long, and then that was it for Vita.
The end.
And I think the whole internet just exploded as like, where's the Vita stuff? Where's the Vita stuff? And then they came on with this Wonder Book, which went on for like 20 minutes.
Yep.
And everyone was like, what is going on? You know, I was, when this was going on, I was in school.
Same.
So I was watching it in school, and I was desperately trying to watch it. I'd already missed the first 20 minutes of it because I was in class. So as soon as class finished, like I was out, but just as the bell went, I was actually wrapping up the class before the bell had even gone because I wanted to get back
early
to.
Now, kids.
Yeah, I was as soon as the bell went, like, right, see you next week, bye. You did great. So went back downstairs and I switched on, and then I started reading Twitter, and everyone was like, yeah. Where's all the Vita stuff? And like there was this Wonder Book going on, and people were freaking out, going, "It's like been 20 minutes and they're still on Wonder Book and it doesn't work," and stuff like that. And it's like, oh my god!
I felt like the woman demoing Wonder Book is going to hate books for the rest of her life.
Or she's just going to hate Wonder Book.
She's going to hate Wonder Book.
Yeah, because obviously it didn't work on stage. I mean, this was something that Nintendo. They also felt as well a few years ago when they did the remember the Zelda demo and with Miyamoto
Sword.
For Skyward Sword, and it didn't work either.
Yeah, poor Miyamoto.
Yeah, with poor Miyamoto. But yeah, these games that they rely on the tech, like a camera or whatever, they don't seem to go down too well. I mean, maybe it's the lighting in the auditorium that they're in. It doesn't suit what they need, because obviously you need proper lighting. But obviously they got something wrong because it didn't work properly, and they spent like 20 minutes on it. And yeah, everyone just flipped out because everyone was expecting this whole Vita push.
It didn't happen.
Because
let me ask you this: knowing what you know, knowing that we know that there were 25 games that were playable on the floor. Do you think there are any games there that deserve special attention other than a sizzle reel?
Yes, I think so. I think Little Big Planet.
Besides Little Bit, yeah, I was just going to mention. Beside that one would probably be the one that comes to mind. What else?
I think what they failed to do that they've done in previous years, and I'm not saying devote a huge amount of time to this, but very quickly they should have talked a little bit about Gravity Rush. I think kind of like how they sometimes talk about the game that comes out in the next week. Just a little bit to be like, see, this is coming, you know? Because that's another like original title releasing on the system that does a good job of showing what it can do. And the fact that they didn't even show it at all. You know?
Think though that is like big screen material?
I mean, you know, you're talking about handheld. So I mean, you know, it's
because
not
like even like Little Big Planet, like that's been at many of their events in the past. It seems like it would be kind of derivative.
But I feel like by not showing it, like, I mean, that's the sort of game that kind of shows off the features of the handheld really well, and I feel like that's what they need.
Like, I totally agree. Like, I playing that game, I had like about 10 minutes of playing time with it. It was immediately struck me as one of the funnest games to play. Playing it though, like, being shown it, I wouldn't have felt any of that.
I mean, you know, that I feel like that's the case with a lot of games though. Like, you know, the trailers will only get you so far, but I think the problem is that people looked at this and they said, you know, the Vita has no games. Like,
I just wonder if
reaction.
like they had, let's say they did everything proper, like they had all their 25 games, they did a nice sizzle reel, they took Gravity Rush and another game up there. I still think people would have been booing it, going, "Where's the new IP?" It would have been, I don't know. I just feel like everyone would have jumped right onto another track, and it still would have been
maybe. But I feel like that other track is still better than the Vita's dead. It has no games. They don't care about it. You know,
like to me, it's all kind of the same thing. Like as a gamer, I want new IP. I want something that's going to result in like a good purchase and some good playing time. When it all boils down to it, it's whether it was shown at a major event up on a big screen or whether it's just available down the floor doesn't really matter in the end for me.
Okay, but I don't. You know, I think for these big conferences though, it's where a lot of people are going to get like their sort of quick. Here's what's important, here's what's big, here's what I need to know kind of thing. And then people like us who will care about the stuff on the show floor and read the articles and the hands-ons and the videos and stuff.
Because, like, I don't know, I'm just looking at, going through all their games, like Zen Pinball 2, When Vikings Attack. And these are all, like, Guacamole, Melee, or Algorithm, Silent Book, or Silent Hill.
Algorithm looks very cool because
they all look really good, but none of these look like big screen, like showcase type games.
But I mean, at the same time, again, with handhelds, what do you really consider like a big showcase title? Because I mean, it's a handheld experience, so it's sort of inherently going to be different from the big budget console stuff.
Right.
So do you give it a separate conference altogether so you're not comparing it to that thing?
Yeah, maybe.
Because
I'm just getting really hyped and I'm expecting these really big IP, big games, multi-million-dollar games. I want to see them get just completely jaw drops on the floor going, holy crap, what did I just see? I don't know if I could get that.
And I mean,
with handheld games, though, they don't need to be that.
They don't need to be that, though. That's the thing, yeah.
Yeah, they don't need to be that. They can be like 5-minute, like, cutesy games, which
if you have 25 games, each one got 10 seconds. That seems like what they had to have done, and they totally dropped the ball.
I mean, for example, a game that was at the conference being published by Xseed, Ragnarok Odyssey. I've played it. I know you've played it, Martin.
Yeah,
Kyle's played it. It's a colorful, fun game, 4-player multiplayer. It's a blast. Like, just something very quick. These are the sort of games that, like, look, see core gamer stuff, like original games. Boom, here you go. Stuff like Algorithm, which is like developed by the Space Channel. I believe it's the Space Channel 5 guy, but like just very original content. Just quick things, quick blurbs, and just instead of like quick stuff, just nothing whatsoever.
I just think they need some sort of angle. Like I'm trying to think what would interest me. Like Martin, before you talked about how important having like crossplay would be.
Yeah,
like, I think if like I'm looking here, When Vikings Attack. This is a cross-platform multiplayer game. That would be. If they had an angle, then I would be interested to know, like, I can take this game from my Vita and play it on my PlayStation 3, and then it says here, a single purchase gets you a copy of the game on both platforms. Whoa, that to me, if they had an angle there,
a lot of these games do, like Sound Shapes does that,
and that's just it. Like that, if they presented it in that way, in an intelligent way, we're going, because then even I would have been learning that for the first time. Yeah. That you can purchase, your one purchase will get you both the PS3 and the Vita versions, and you can do cross-play, cross-save. I'd be like, whoa, all these games are coming out and you can do that? That's a really good reason to have a Vita, because I'll be out and about and I want to be able to play my games on my PS3. I got a big queue of games that I can't get to, or something like that. But just like showing the games and then going, here they are, this is all that is currently coming out that you have to look forward to. Like that sandwiched in between all these huge games, I think I would just like kind of shrug my shoulders.
I mean, that's the thing too. I mean, I think what it comes down to is they needed to have a plan.
Yeah, a plan.
And instead of like doing the bare minimum, which is not having a plan, but like at least having like a sizzle reel or something, they just went with nothing whatsoever,
I think they needed the sizzle reel.
Do you think that Sony America don't care about handhelds and they're just like looking at this living room space? Because I don't think that they needed to show God of War.
I don't think so either.
I mean, that's a 2013 game for a start.
And people know it's coming.
Yeah, because they've already told you that it's coming because they showed off multiplayer.
And it's going to get tons of coverage because, it's God of War.
Yeah. So I didn't think they needed to show that.
I mean, I thought Last of Us was a really good thing to sort of put up on there.
Oh, yeah, because that's what they finished with, right?
Yeah, original IP, very interesting looking. But I don't think God of War was necessary.
No, I didn't think it was.
I think you could have had a trailer and just moved on and not spent time demoing the game.
Yeah, I mean, that's the time that they spent with God of War. They could have, like, thrown a load of Vita games on a sizzle reel or at least shown, like, the cross-platform play and saves. And, I know they did that.
The PlayStation 1 compatibility coming finally, stuff like that. Just, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I was just really disappointed as a gamer who predominantly plays handheld now because I've got little time to play console games. And
likewise.
Yeah, and this is my kind of main platform now, and I wasn't fed anything.
Yeah,
I'm starving of game content, and being in Japan, we've been starved for like a month and a half of Vita games.
And it's finally coming, stuff is finally
stuff's finally coming, but then you get this like big E3 press conference and you're expecting to be shown something, and they didn't.
Yeah, you had to dig around to find out that there were games there that weren't.
I think
being
it's
talked
really
about.
bad that the way they did damage control too. It's
Very poor.
Because I think it's good that Yoshida acknowledged that it was bad quickly. Like I give him major credit for that. But I think his quote, I don't know if this was in English, like originally in English, or this was translated, but he says here, the PR team's one big focus is to make the conference shorter this year. We've been criticized for having long conferences in the past.
Yeah, that was in English.
That's terrible.
Yeah.
To not have like what we were just talking about, like a different game plan that shows that they've been thinking of something rather than just trying to make something shorter.
The game plan shouldn't have been cut the Vita from the conference.
Well, especially when the game, I mean, the Vita's been out for 4 months.
Yeah.
They need to be pushing it because, I mean, all you need to do is look at the Media Create sales.
Yeah, exactly.
And you can see it's bombing. I mean, the PlayStation, the PSP is outselling it like 2 to 1. And that's a 7-year-old machine.
Yep.
So surely they should have come out swinging.
And, you know, I realize I totally forgot when you were talking about this, Steve, but, like, you know, big games to throw up on the screen. You know, I feel like a lot of people might not realize this, but Soul Sacrifice was at E3. It had an English trailer, and it was playable.
Right.
You know, it had an English trailer, and nothing, really.
And it's an Inafune game as well. And it's not like he's not, like, nobody knows about him.
Exactly.
Gamers know about him, right?
Yeah, the press knows about him, you know. Companies know about him. He's a big name.
So
nothing, you know?
And nothing, yeah. That was really bizarre. I didn't understand that one.
And I mean,
I think it was disrespect to a lot of developers who are trying to develop for the Vita.
Exactly.
And then not getting support by, you know, Big Brother. That I think is just a huge oversight.
What kind of message does that send to the developers?
It's just a big disconnect is what it shows.
Yeah, it left me infuriated, to be honest.
Like, as a person who's paying attention to all this stuff, all the games that are coming out, and knowing what's really coming out, and then seeing what's all on the floor, you know, I'm fine. But when if in the end, you know, there are a lot of people who kind of don't give Gravity Rush, which is coming out right now.
Yeah, exactly.
It would have been like nice for it to get like a big commercial for those people. And then just.
Because I mean, looking at, you know, everything after the fact, you know, in retrospect, you know, I'm interested in quite a lot of stuff that was shown at E3 for the Vita. You know, there's stuff I'm excited about, but that's me as someone who actually, you know, looked through and was like, oh, okay, this was here, and like this showed up. Okay, cool. Like, but
I guess that's how I always look at things. Like, just when we're talking about this, is like this is what I'm interested in buying and looking forward to playing, rather than like, looking through it from the average person's eyes.
And I feel like that's who they need to be appealing to, because the gamers, you know, they're already kind of going to get, because we sort of look for the information anyway. But for the people who are just seeing this stuff on CNN, for example, you know, that sites that aren't going to cover E3 in super crazy depth, like, what are they going to see, you know? Nothing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Kind of.
I saw a nice article by Edge, and they did a really good job at kind of taking all the games and corralling them together for the Vita.
Yeah.
I think
few and far between.
A lot of sites did that, though, right? Did they not?
Yeah, a lot of sites were like, look, guys, there are Vita games.
It's just funny because all of these sites did a better job of promoting the Vita than Sony did.
Yep.
So, yeah.
Sad.
It's really sad. And I just hope that, because you got Gamescom coming up and then TGS, I really hope that this is not a trend.
I think we're going to see a big push from Japan, at least, because I think they want the Vita to sell here. And I know there's supposed to be a Vita Games Heaven this month, isn't there?
Yes, there is.
Yeah, they haven't announced the date yet. But they're still committed to making this work. So I think we're going to see a push. And I think it's going to start with Persona 4 this week, when the Vita sees its first real bump, hopefully.
Here.
Here, definitely here, yeah.
Because right now there is no territory that is dominated by the Vita.
No,
right?
not at all.
They're homeless right now.
That's a pipe dream.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. So we were disappointed with the Sony press conference too.
I see.
I see.
Can't we just say that like we're always disappointed with all the press conferences we ever see? Really, other than making it like news. I don't know.
Not all the
time.
time.
You ever walk away blown away? How long has it been?
I have a few times. A couple of years ago, Nintendo's conference, they showed like 7 or 8 really killer games, like first-party joints, like stuff like Donkey Kong Country Returns, stuff like that. That just like looked really fantastic, and I remember coming away from that thinking, "Wow, that was really good." You know, like I'm surprised, but I guess that's not the standard anymore. You know,
right? Yeah, I think it's they've got this focus on the casual as well, and then they need to pander to like the CNNs and the BBCs and stuff. That they need to just get stuff out that goes down well on the Oprah show and stuff like that. You know?
Yeah.
So.
Well, thank God she's done, so that show's gone.
Yeah.
I mean, E3 is different. You sort of have to go in with different expectations now. I'm not really sure it's necessary, though, in this day and age. With the other game shows, the other trade shows, you know, like the Penny Arcade Expo is kind of like the gamers convention in a way, like for, you know, gamers. And then you have games conference in Germany or whatever. Like, I don't know if E3 is really needed anymore.
Whoa.
Honestly, I don't know if it is, because it feels like, you know, what's the point in holding off all of these like game announcements to this conference when, like, for instance, this year, you know, there wasn't a lot of new stuff. Like, that was a big complaint from everyone, it seems, you know, just showing things we already know. And I mean, did we really need E3 for that?
Well, E3 is no longer the biggest games conference in the world anymore. Anyway, Gamescom is the biggest one, right?
Yeah, I believe so.
So,
if anything, we've got more to look forward to at TGS. So that's look on the bright side.
Actually, when E3 finished, I got really excited for TGS.
Exactly.
Ironically, I was just really starting to get jazzed for it.
Yeah, me too. Because I was thinking, well, obviously they've held back a lot of stuff, and there's a lot of stuff to come. So I mean, it's only going to be shown at TGS, and we're going to have another console as well. But when TGS pulls up, you know, we're going to have the Wii U will be out in like 2 or 3 months after TGS. I know Nintendo won't be there, but obviously like Konami and Capcom and whoever
else. Yeah, the big
else,
publishers are going to be
there. The
there.
big publishers, they'll be there, and they'll have their stuff. Or maybe they won't. Maybe Nintendo will say, no, you're not showing it. Because I think they did that with the 3DS at TGS.
They did. I remember that.
Yeah, but
they had their own special little pre-launch conference
Yes, but I mean, is that what Nintendo want to do? I mean, apparently Nintendo have been like trying to butter up the third-party publishers, so maybe they'll let them show them, or maybe they'll just be Nintendo and say, no, you're not showing it until we show it first. I don't know. But saying that, though, it's been shown at E3, so why wouldn't they let people show it what they've got?
Yeah, I mean, it's possible, definitely.
So I just hope that when TGS does come around, that Nintendo allowed these other third parties to show their titles anyways. Okay, so Sony disappointed us. So Nintendo. It started off with Miyamoto with his Pikmin, which was really great, and I was like, yeah, this is going to be awesome. This is going to be a great press conference.
Pikmin 3,
yes. So it was 5 minutes of Pikmin 3. I was enjoying it, and then it just turned to crap. It's like, what have you done? Like, who pulled the plug?
The fun train is gone.
Yeah, it just disappeared. Like the hype train that everyone was riding, it just like it
crashed off the rails.
Yeah, just like it was like Back to the Future 3. Was it? Yeah, Back to the Future 3. Yeah, where it was like
right.
Ended on rails and just
the West.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Reggie jumped on his hoverboard and flew off somewhere, and the train just went flying off, and everyone was on it, and it was like, yo,
you grabbed, like the bag of coal.
Yeah, everyone was like, yo, what's going on? Hey, come back, and yeah, it's like,
that's an amazing comparison.
You know, and it's like, damn, Nintendo, what are you doing? And yeah, I was really
that and Super Mario Brothers.
Well, Super Mario is okay. I was expecting Super Mario.
I was like, that's what I was hoping for. I mean, the prior podcast I was saying, get both of those. That would be 2 evergreen titles.
Yeah,
that would be a good move. First chess move for them, right, going out of launch, and then so that, and of course, I wasn't really expecting to have a lot more first party titles other than that.
Well, I wasn't expecting like Mario 1.0 or 1.5, because it's basically that's where it is, right? It's not
It looks gorgeous. I don't know. I loved it.
I mean, the art, it actually has an art style, whereas like
I like the
Mario
back
Brothers,
screens.
I was expecting Galaxy or something, not just Super Mario Brothers.
This is easier to get out though for a launch. I
think it's better. It's familiar. I mean, people want another one.
I'm not particularly fond of New Super Mario Brothers, but I do get that like this is a loved series. I do like though that they actually took a look at the art design for the original Wii game and fixed it, because the Wii game is just the most kind of like dull, artless game ever. Well, and like the Mario team can do better than that. So when I saw this, like the screens and the video of this new one, and you take a look at the background art
was really vivid,
and I'm like, okay,
alive.
They fixed this, because that bugged the heck out of me before.
Right, this is the first Nintendo console, it seems like, to be released with a Mario game since the N64.
Yeah.
You know,
that is true, other than like the Nintendo DS, which got Super Mario 64 DS. Yeah, but that wasn't an original game. So
yeah, exactly.
I don't know. Just by having those two, I grade them at least a B.
Really? I wouldn't have given Nintendo a B at all.
I mean, it's good. It's good for the Wii U that they have those, and that will sell systems. But for my problem was just the lack of third-party stuff there, and that's not going to hurt them. You know, don't get me wrong. Don't misinterpret that. I don't think that's going to hurt sales for them.
No, but Nintendo have been saying that they've been trying to like course third parties.
Yeah.
And then they come out with a game that's already like 9 months old, and they've added like Batarang support to the Wii U.
Yeah,
controller.
that was the weirdest choice of like things to show off ever.
Yeah.
Especially because, all right, I love Platinum games. I'm willing to give anything they make a chance.
Right.
And they had a Wii U game that's like it has kind of the Beautiful Joe style.
Yes. And
like is apparently a lot of fun. And they had a game at E3, and they didn't show it at the conference.
Well, this is coming from a gamer's point of view. If you're looking at like from you're from CNN, right? And you see Batman, there you go, boom. It's a household name. Whereas Platinum Games, only people who follow, they're not going to know.
I get that, but I think Batman was still a weird choice.
Yeah, definitely, it's still a weird choice. But it's a mainstream title which everyone knows, right?
Because it's been out for a while.
Exactly, but not only that, it's a name as well, Batman. You know.
Yeah.
So I kind of understand why they did it, but I don't like it because what it was.
Yeah.
You know.
I also find it weird that they're publishing Ninja Gaiden 3. Which is weird to me, especially because it was such a flop across all territories. Like, I don't really know why anybody would be excited for that.
Then they switched to this Me theme park or Wii theme park or Wii.
Something like Nintendo theme park.
Why did they need somebody to explain that? The Luigi's Mansion game, you know, where you're using the controller and then you can use the gamepad to see the people who were using the controllers.
Flashlights.
Yeah, the flashlights, and the flashlights would only know that you were around when it vibrated. And why didn't you need like 20 minutes or 10, 15 minutes to explain that?
It just looked like a crappy version of Pac-Man or something.
Yeah, well, they already did that, like on the GameCube and the was it on the Game Boy Advance? You know where you plug the Game Boy Advance into the GameCube.
Oh yeah. The interconnectivity.
They did that like years ago. It was a Pac-Man game as well.
Yeah, I remember this.
And it was never really used. It was kind of binned. I think it was only used in one game, and then that was it. It just disappeared again. but now they came out, and then they had some Japanese guy on explaining it for like 10 minutes when they didn't even need it.
They needed one of those 20 feet canes, like just to pull his neck,
pull him off.
Yeah, just pull him off. Stop going. I just didn't dig it at all. I know. And then at the end they said, "We'll leave you with Me Park or Theme Park or something like that." And everyone was expecting to see something amazing, and it was just a fireworks show. And I was like, "What? Really?"
Not having a strong finish.
They had no finish. It was just like it just went limp. It's just like, okay, finished. You know, it was just like really bad the way they finished it.
Did either of you gentlemen stay up for that? Because that was very early in the morning.
No, I went to bed.
Like I watched the second, like when they finally started showing all the games after they finished the press conference. Then they just had like a bunch of videos, right, of the games. Yeah, I stayed up for that when Iwata pulled out the banana.
That banana.
Yeah, no, I didn't watch it live because it was like at 2 a.m. in the morning in Japan, and I was like, I ain't staying. I've got work in the morning.
I was glad I didn't stay up for it.
I actually thoroughly enjoyed it. Watching it and everybody's comments coming in.
Oh yeah, that's
where I enjoy.
That's what the real fun is.
Yeah, watching Twitter explode it was hilarious, but actually watching the conference itself is like, wow, shoot me now.
Twitter during the 3DS showcase was amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they started off so strong. I mean, this was what, the day after? This was on the Wednesday, was it?
Yes.
No, it was
a
Thursday. It was a Thursday, yeah, and they did the Nintendo 3DS conference, right?
Yep, the showcase. The game showcase.
And it started off so good with, was it Paper Mario, right?
Yeah, they had Paper Mario. They were finally showing it off.
Yeah, because I remember, Steve, we saw the Paper Mario video. Do you remember when we went to the 3DS thing?
I sure do.
And it looked so good then, and we were like, I want to play, but they didn't have it. It wasn't playable. No. It wasn't in playable form. So this press conference comes around, it shows it, and it looks amazing. And hopefully, the guy who was demoing it said that the 3D looks great as well. And he said, trust me, it looks great, but obviously you can't see it. But then after that, it just fell apart.
Yeah, I mean, they showed the new Castlevania, which got me less excited about the new Castlevania. Just because, I don't know, it doesn't... The focus on combat and, like, the whip stuff is great and all, but the problem is like, that kind of long-range whip combat is that way because in a 3D game, you need to have a way to control crowds of enemies. And in the 2D game, it just doesn't work quite the same. And apparently, that is a real problem because a lot of hands-on with the game afterward have been talking about how the combat just feels very awkward, and the whole game is kind of a little bit concerning right now. And I personally just want them to go back to either old school classic Castlevania or Metroidvania. Like, pick one, I'm fine with either one of them, but I don't like the direction they're going with the series. So I didn't really get excited about that, but Paper Mario looked fantastic.
It did. It looked superb. And that's what got me all excited. And I was thinking, wow, this is how you do a press conference for your handheld machine. And it just, as I said, it just fell apart.
And I mean, the big thing that came away from this concert is there were no new games announced. And that's kind of what people wanted from the 3DS conference, where, you know, new announcements about localized games, etc. I mean, the big one people were waiting for was Fire Emblem, which they got through other means, but you know, that didn't get a single mention at the conference at all.
Which is a bit crazy.
It also is worth mentioning, just to backtrack a little bit, that the biggest upset for me was just not having any Last Guardian.
Yeah.
That was one thing. Like, even though I was on like an all-time high because of just how good Halo looked, like that, even though I was on that super high, I was still in the doldrums because I didn't see Last Guardian.
I thought for a second they were going to show it at the very end, and it didn't happen.
Right. Yeah, no.
That would have been a Grand Slam home run for me.
Oh, yeah, that would have won it, personally.
Yeah, it would have, but yeah, I think Shuhei also said that they experienced some technical difficulties with it, so they've got their top engineers on it. So
yeah, it'll be ready to show when it's ready to show.
Yeah.
Boxing next to the Ark.
Yeah.
Don't say that.
I don't think they're going to, like, what, if they don't, the sure bet is if they don't show it at Tokyo Game Show, we've got a problem.
Yeah, because the generation's about to end.
Right.
Yeah, well, what do they do? Do they just say, okay, we need more power or whatever to finish it? Just, is this a PlayStation 4 launch title or what?
Has that ever happened where you've like made a game at the end of the life cycle and then they just like pushed it onto the next gen? Does that ever happen?
I'm not sure.
Pikmin, you know, for one. You know, Pikmin was supposed to be out for the Wii and then it wasn't, and then, you know, Pikmin's been like rumored for years now and supposedly in development according to Miyamoto, but
because we're all completely satisfied with anything on par with what we've seen thus far.
Yeah, exactly.
nobody is expecting them to outdo what they've already performed, or showed us. So
I just want.
I don't need it on next gen. I'll just say that right now.
I'll take it, warts and all.
Exactly.
I just want it.
Well, I mean, I think some people were actually calling for it. Just cancel it. Just cancel it. But I mean, the amount of money that Sony must have.
No, don't cancel it. Please kill those people. Jesus,
shut up. You're wrong.
Just because they've got let down at a conference.
Is that entitlement with people?
That's entitlement.
That's entitlement, right?
I don't even know if that qualifies as an entitlement because it doesn't even make any sense.
That's called just throwing a temper tantrum.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Why would you even say that?
So as a whole of the actual press conferences, we've all come away either somewhat disappointed or just totally disappointed.
Yeah.
Do you mean what? You mean as a whole or
as
just
a whole?
At Japanese
as a whole, as a Japanese gamer, you'd come away from those press conferences and go, "Crap."
No, I'm fine. Because
Really?
the way I look at it is, I've got X amount of hours, I've got X amount of time. All the stuff that I've seen thus far will completely wipe out my wallet, and I don't have enough time for.
Right, but you play Western games. I don't. I play very few Western games.
Likewise.
Right.
For me, like I said, this just got me really excited for TGS. If anything, it kind of had the reverse reaction. But yeah.
Right, because I play very few and far between Western titles. Maybe I'll play one Western title a year.
Yeah, same these days.
So,
yeah, I think I would, if I was in that situation, I'd probably be pretty upset.
Yeah. So yeah, therefore I am upset.
Yeah.
And I am saying, TGS needs to deliver. Otherwise, I'm going to be extremely upset with games as a whole. And am I going to start to become disinterested in gaming because I'm not being provided what I want? Do I go and play Gree?
Don't say that.
Because
don't even go there.
Because there's games coming out every day.
Don't mean the last 20 seconds of what you said.
Yeah, but you know what I mean. Am I doing the entitlement card now, saying that I want my games?
I think when you watch all this press conference always gives me this crazy anxiety. I don't like it. I really don't like talking about any of this stuff, really. But because it's just one big brouhaha. It's all one wash. But when it comes down to it, you're just going to buy games on Thursday like you always do.
But those games on Thursday, like I always do, there hasn't been anything for a month and a half for me to buy.
But I mean, that's also, these months are typically pretty.
You just bought Tokyo Jungle, though.
Yeah, but that's the first game I've bought since God knows when.
Yeah, we're typically in lull territory, though.
Yeah, I mean, summer and the months leading up to summer are pretty like
now it's going to all pick up.
Yeah,
like I'm buying a game next week. I'm buying a game next week.
Yeah, likewise, my wallet cries.
I look forward to it, yet I cringe at the same time because
exactly
it's eating my wallet.
But I mean, honestly,
I think it's just business as usual for a gamer, really. As long as you're not you're stuck to you're tied to one single console,
right? But
multi-platform, we're fine.
Yeah, but I've got multi-platform. But as I was saying before, my time is so much taken up that I'm only really looking at handhelds, which is 3DS and the Vita.
Yeah,
and that's what I've got, and I haven't been served anything for 2 months.
And in that sense, I watched the 3DS conference, and I was really for the first time, I think, I really thought to myself how happy I was that I decided to go with a Japanese 3DS instead of a Western one in terms of region locking and stuff.
Right.
Because
absolutely,
man, the West is just not, they're not getting a whole lot of love.
100% with you on that. Glad that I didn't buy a Western 3DS.
Yeah.
As a second console. Handheld.
Yeah. I was considering getting one because of the region thing, but I'm like, I don't think I need one because, again, the handheld space is typically Japanese dominated. So it's there's going to be a lot of games that probably won't end up making it over at some point or another. And it's thank God I didn't go with buying an American 3DS. I would have regretted it heavily right now.
I know you guys are interested in Western games, but what did you think about Watch Dog and 1313?
Watch Dog looks very cool. Very, very cool. I'm a little worried that a lot of games are kind of looking like Uncharted in terms of that kind of very directed gameplay.
But don't you like that they've sort of created a genre within a genre?
That is cool. I'm just worried that we'll get burned out on it because I was feeling a little bit burned out on Uncharted by 3. So I'm just a little bit concerned that might get milked too far. But Watch Dogs is, that looks different, but it looks really, really cool.
Like, I'm mildly drunk in excitement for 1313. That kind of... After seeing how bad Star Wars IP could go with the Kinect and then seeing something...
I'm cautiously enthusiastic about it because I was really excited for Force Unleashed. And I thought, like, the trailers and stuff leading up to that were doing an amazing job of hyping it up.
But that was... Those were trailers, though, not in-game. What we saw in-game looked pretty amazing, wouldn't you say? 1313?
Visually, definitely. But I mean, like, for the first Force Unleashed game, like, the demos they were showing at first were, like, mind-blowing, remember? Where, like, you could do anything to, like, objects in the environment and stuff. And it just looked like the coolest Star Wars game ever, and then it wasn't.
Did, right.
So I'm excited, but I'm keeping it in check on this one just because I don't want to let it get the best of me. But it looks cool for sure. Looks amazing.
I like the fact that they're showing games that could that are sort of preceding the next generation hardware rather than the other way around. For once, I love that they're showing next gen potentially software before the hardware because hardware just does nothing for me until we see these types of games. So getting them early makes me excited for next gen.
Yeah, I feel I'm a lot more enthusiastic about the next generation because I feel like we saw a lot of next gen stuff this
E3.
Like,
which was that was really the biggest surprise, I'd say.
Well, you mean like with the tech demos and stuff?
Yeah. Well, not the
that too.
Well, that's tech demos and then the new engine.
And different games like Watch Dogs and 1313.
Especially that type of stuff I wasn't expecting.
Well, I mean that's all well and good though, but how much money have you got to spend to play that?
We'll see.
I mean, what kind of?
I'm hoping the PC I bought will be able to run those things.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, how much money did you spend on that to actually play that? I mean, if you've got that type of money to spend on games, great. Most people don't.
I mean, I'm
just ready for next gen. My body's ready, man.
With another thing is, I mean, people expect those type of visuals to then be put into a console and then be sold for like less than $500. I mean, is that...
I don't think we're going to see quite as good as what we saw in those tech demos on the consoles. Like, I think that's going to be PC stuff. But
this is a year. The next year is going to be a year for PC to shine.
Yeah, well, those expectations that people have is not quite fair, right? Because they're expecting those type of visuals to be put into a home console to cost less than $500.
But I mean, at the same time, though, like, that happens every single generation. You get those tech demos that are just really, or like those projected images that are just really unrealistic, idealistic versions of like the visuals people think they're going to get, and it's never that good. Like, I remember for the PS2 with like the Idea Motion Engine or something. They were saying it's going to be as good as Pixar.
Yeah, Toy Story, right? Toy Story visuals.
Nowhere even close. Like, that was a total wash. But I mean, they do that every single generation, and I think people have sort of come to expect it. And the only people who pay attention to those sort of things are people like us anyway. So.
Right.
But then what about Square Enix's Luminous engine? That was
very
big
cool
reveal, right?
Very, very cool.
Yeah, that was amazing. Again, what kind of rig do they need to run that? I mean, the graphics card, I mean, that's like I don't know, in Japan it's like a 70,000 yen graphics card or something. I don't know. I mean, that's like...
I just like the fact that you have something like a heavy hitter coming out of Japan that can go against the Unreal.
Yeah, I mean, like Square being like up to speed. I mean, that's what the problem was with, I think, Japan for this generation, that Japan wasn't up to speed.
Yeah, Koei Tecmo, one of the guys who was worked in localization for them, said he couldn't handle it anymore because they weren't willing to invest in a new graphics engine for them. Like that type of stuff costs big bucks, and they become complacent, and they find how much they can get away with what's barely acceptable to make a sequel. Like we have like the new Hokuto no Ken, the Fist of the North Star, that's coming out.
Oh yeah, there's
the
a
next
sequel.
sequel's coming out, right? I'm very curious to see. Is it just going to be
the same engine,
derivative,
same engine, yep. Just
or the latest Warrior, whatever the latest Musou engine is, right? That's probably what it's going to be. But they're not preparing anything. And
well, yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Seeing such a great IP and then them just trashing it like that really pisses me off.
I'm really curious to see where Kojima Productions takes the Fox engine now that all this other stuff has popped up, and how they're going to work on the Fox engine and modify that further. Because these are sort of the heavy hitters of the Japanese industry, and they're making their own up to speed game engines, and I'm really excited about that. It shows that they're finally on board to sort of pick up the pace with this kind of thing. So
right.
I think that's really exciting.
Well, I hope that when the next generation does come in, at least some of the Japanese developers will be up to speed with it.
They'll be able to just jump in instead of spending years trying to figure it out.
Yeah, because, the Japanese industry spent, 3 years to actually get up to speed with Western developers.
Yeah, it was bad.
And still, they're still way behind if you think about it.
They are,
I still don't think any Japanese developer has come anywhere near close to, what Naughty Dog are doing with what they've produced.
No, yeah.
I still don't think... okay, Konami did well with Metal Gear.
But there's sort of a special case, and I think...
Yeah.
Kojima Productions is kind of like the odd man when it comes to that kind of stuff.
Well, the amount of money that they spent on it, I'm not surprised. Not many Japanese... It doesn't seem to me that a lot of Japanese developers put that kind of money into their games like Konami with Kojima Productions.
Yeah.
You don't see that happening too often. Whereas the Western development, they seem to put a hell of a lot of money into the tech to get the tech up to speed and get it up to what people expect.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas that doesn't happen in Japan. They just reuse what they had last year.
The guy Koei Tecmo.
Put your teeth in, Steve.
Thank you. Jesus. Yeah, he said when he went over to E3 with a bunch of people and they had to write up these reports, he wrote about a lot of the stuff that, the Japanese video game industry is in sorely need of, like these, new graphic engines and stuff like that. And he says they were just really complacent and it disgusted him.
Right.
That's why he ended up leaving the industry, because he just couldn't deal with it anymore.
Oh, he left?
He left the company. Yeah.
Wow.
He quit.
Basically because
went to get a job at Havoc.
Oh, Havoc.
The graphic physics engine.
The physics engine people. Wow.
Yeah.
Well, because you're a new year, a new game. You want to see something exciting.
Right.
It's like 1.2, 1.3.
Yeah. That's a problem with a company like Koei, who just like to regurgitate everything that they've got year after year, or 6 months down the line, here's another one. And it's exactly the same with a slightly different story, with some different characters, but the essence of the game is pretty much the same. So
yeah.
And not to say that they're not improving in certain areas, but just not leaps and bounds.
So when you look at this tech demo that Square did,
the Final Fantasy one,
the Final Fantasy one,
what is it? Agnes Philosophy, something like that.
Yeah, well, there is a video out there that someone shot on their iPhone where they do stop the video and they move the camera around, and they give an old man dreads for
that was awesome.
For a beard, and
on the fly.
It's all on the fly, and you can see the change color.
He went homeless to GQ in like 3 seconds.
Yeah, it was amazing, and if that's the kind of technology they have for demos now, but it's great that you can see.
It was better than the Dark Knight Epic engine tech demo, right?
Yeah, I thought it was better than the Epic demo.
Yeah.
That might be just the aesthetic, right, because I don't like Epic's look. I've never liked their look.
I didn't like the machine gun fire mixed in. It was a bit of an anachronism, didn't belong, but fantasy and automatic rifles.
The AK-47s didn't really mesh with the rest of the setting.
No, but that's probably a lot easier to do than sword fights, right? Animating sword fights is probably a lot harder to do than having projectiles coming out of a static weapon.
Coming up with a quick weapon that they could just throw in there and whatever.
Yeah, it's a lot easier to do than real-time animation and swords flying around and stuff, right?
Yeah. So who knows,
Yeah, but hopefully they license it, and they make a lot of money.
Yeah.
Well, if it's good enough, they'll. Certainly people will be buying it, whether or not it's that they will be selling it, and maybe it's just for their internal use only. We don't know.
kind of like MT frameworks for Capcom.
Well, I guess if they're showing
it might be for a while, but they don't license it immediately.
Yeah, maybe. Well, if they're showing it at E3 as their engine, maybe they are selling it. Why would they show it at E3 what they can do if they weren't going to sell it? So yeah, I guess they would be selling it if they're showing it at E3 and showcasing the technology that they have now. Cool. Okay. Well, that's our E3. As a gamer from Japan, I was disappointed.
What about 3DS? Super Mario 2, you guys aren't interested in that.
Yeah, but as a whole,
that was really. Cause I want fun games on the go because I really haven't been playing them a lot, and I'm kind of excited for that.
So that's what I'm saying. So I was kind of disappointed. But there was a few little treasure bombs in there, but as a whole of E3, from what I seen, I guess from press conferences, I was disappointed. But knowing what was on the show floor and hearing what was on the show floor, it was great.
Exactly, yeah. That's what I took away from that.
And I'm looking forward...
Yeah, I had to dig for, find Jet Set Radio.
Yeah, seriously.
Gameplay. That was a shame.
So I'm excited to know that there was games there, but I'm really solely and wholeheartedly disappointed to what I saw for the press conferences. Not being at E3 and not being able to play those games and not being told by the publisher, this is what we've got, and not knowing that, and then having to dig around and listen to other podcasts or look on the Edge. And the Edge, they had the article with the Vita stuff. Knowing that stuff was there, I'm happy, but not being told by Sony or Nintendo this is what we've got.
Yeah.
It's extremely disappointed. So yeah, I was disappointed with the press conferences, but I'm happy with the content that was on the actual show floor. I'm just disappointed.
And that's what matters at the end of the day.
Yeah, that's what matters at the end of the day. But I'm just disappointed that's the way they went about doing it.
Yeah.
So,
and I'm kind of disappointed that the most exciting game that's coming out is a game that I've already platinumed, which is Gravity Rush.
Do you think so? I mean, they did have Soul Sacrifice.
No, but I mean, there's nothing in the next month or two that I'm going to be buying I'm really excited
about. I don't know about that. Sound Shapes is something I'm going to be buying.
Sound Shapes is going to be cool. I'm definitely grabbing Jet Grind Radio. Jet Set Radio.
Jet Grind,
yeah, I'm getting that.
And this wasn't at E3, but I'm definitely grabbing Malicious.
When is Jet Set Radio again?
End of this month.
Yeah.
Damn it.
And then Malicious Rebirth comes out midsummer, I believe.
Right, but that was a game I had on a PS3, and I couldn't figure it out.
Yeah, that's not going to be much different, right?
It has a bunch of new content. Yeah, there's a few new levels and some new bosses and stuff.
I could never figure it out on the PS3, so I don't know if I'm going to be able to figure it out on the Vita. It didn't click with me. I don't know. It looked great. I mean, I like the look.
The combat was pretty bizarre, wasn't that?
Yeah, it was really weird. I just couldn't figure it out. I mean, we spent 6 hours playing that. We were like, what?
Playing Casper up the walls.
I'm really excited for that because I actually never played it. I never got it for the PS3, so
right.
I held off on it.
I mean, so there was that, and then there was the was it Shinmura?
Yeah,
that looks pretty good.
Shinmura's coming out
because that's an XBLA. Put my teeth in as well, Steve. XBLA game.
Yes,
which was a
Suda 51.
Suda 51 was a Hungarian
Grasshopper.
Hungarian studio.
Yeah, but it seems to be that it's exclusive to the 360 as the home console, but it's also coming to Vita as well with some extra content.
Persona 4 was also at the show. Not localized because they're still working on it, but Atlas had it there on display, the Japanese version.
What was it? Hatsune Miku was there as well.
Yeah, that was surprising.
Which apparently it was fully localized, as in the menu system was all in English and stuff. But obviously the song is all in Japanese. But they said something about this. It was a tech demo, and Sega rep said that Sega had no plans to release it in the States.
Yeah, they had it there translated because they were trying to gauge interest on the game. And according to some reps, they said there was good interest in it, but they didn't say anything. They were like, yeah, we're not planning on releasing this, which strikes me as silly. Why would you bring a localized demo of a game you don't plan on releasing in the States to E3? The whole situation is weird.
I think they were just saying that this is a representation of Sega Japan. This is what we've got.
I mean, I don't know about that though, because I mean, it was a bunch of the people they had with it were not Japanese people, and I mean, to me it just screams we're interested in bringing this over. We brought it here to see if people would be interested in buying it, and chances are better than not this might come over. Like, what I took away from this is there's probably like something like a 70% chance you're going to end up seeing this in the States, because Miku has been gaining ground in the West.
Didn't they have a concert in the States as well?
Several concerts that like sold out and were really popular.
Right.
So I mean, it's gaining ground, and I think Sega wants to capitalize on that. And it might not be a physical release, because I can imagine, given Sega's current condition, it probably wouldn't be.
Right.
But a totally digital release, I can definitely see that.
Yeah, I can see a totally digital release, and I don't see why they shouldn't.
And it doesn't take much in terms of localization either, because it's not like there's a story mode.
Yeah.
So,
all you need to do is translate the menus. Now,
and, maybe get some subtitles for the music, and you're done. In the end.
Yeah, but even then, there's not much.
Yeah, exactly. In terms of,
it's not much in there to do, really.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't see why not.
Yeah, it was just nice to see it on the show floor.
It's another one of those things that someone posted an image. I think it was on Gaff. Someone posted an image of like the logo that was kind of blurry, and people were like, "There's no way that's at E3." Hatsune Miku, what?
Yeah.
And then they had a little booth for it. You play the game, there it is.
Yeah, quite bizarre, but as I said,
a little exciting though, definitely.
It's exciting that it's there, and props to Sega for actually taking it.
Yeah,
and I actually spending a little bit of time as well and preparing it for the West, basically. So just translating the menus.
Yeah, I mean they didn't even really have to do that, because I mean, if you have the people holding the machines and demoing it, all you have to do is explain, okay, press this to start. The end.
Exactly. So no, I was happy it was there. So that's good. I mean,
sounds like they just needed bilingual menus from the beginning.
Yeah, I mean, I don't. Those games are not
Vanquish Platinum Games style.
The thing is, those games are really import friendly to begin with. Like 90% of the menus are in English from the get go.
Yeah.
So it's there's really not a lot of work to be done.
Catherine did a really good job. That was one of those that was like a lot of English from the get go.
Yeah.
I thought that was really tastefully done.
Yeah, then you've got like they had like Metal Gear Solid.
Yep, Ragnarok was there.
Ragnarok was there.
Algorithm was there.
Dr. Kawashima. The brain game.
They had it was Smart As, right?
What's that?
It's called Smart As, right?
Is that what it is? I don't know. I watched like
Smart As.
Really remedial.
Yeah.
It was like a bum, and then you had to add L for album. I'm just thinking like anal bum cover for 1,000.
But there was stuff there, so I'm happy that it was there, and I was really excited to see this. Edge did a feature with like 25 games on the Vita, so I was happy to go through that. So that was great. So
what about that Guacamole? That kind of looks really interesting.
Well, that's Drinkbox Studios, right?
Yeah, it's like Mexican culture.
Yeah,
it's like kind of like Rayman Origins with like a Mexican take.
Yeah, Drinkbox Studios, they did About a Blob. Tales from Space, About a Blob. They did that. I don't know if you know it at all. They did the launch title Mutant Blob Attacks as well. There was a launch title for the States. And again, the aesthetic, it looks very similar to Mutant Blob's Attack. Yeah, it looks awesome. It's another game that I'd like to pick up, but this is something that you probably...
A lot of people are really excited about Zen Pinball too as well. I mean, I'm not really a player.
Yeah, but apparently, again, that's very good, and the physics for that game is extremely...
And that's PS3 Vita versions. You get both.
Yeah. So,
DLC applies to both formats.
I mean, these are things that they just should have shown quickly in a sizzle reel.
That's a really type of smart strategy stuff that I was trying to make a point on. It's like that's what I'd like to know, like some overarching theme, because everyone's been sitting on this transfarring thing and then nothing's happened.
Yeah, and there's a lot to be done there.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I think that's what we said the last podcast, though, right? That's what we want to see. We want to see games that
they've announced it was somewhat of a surprise. I mean, seeing a list of games that have that was like a nice surprise. It just kind of got thrown under the carpet.
Yep.
Really weird, yeah, because we had to dig for it and find it, and then you had to dig for intelligent strategies.
I mean, there's another one that's called Snapshot. which looks extremely well done.
It could be. I don't know. Yeah.
Well, I mean, from what I've heard, I mean, I've been listening to a few podcasts of people with hands-on, and they say it was amazing.
Okay.
So
you're taking the pictures and then and then manipulating
them. Yeah, overlaying them onto the scenario that you're in to help you move around the platform or whatever.
as a puzzle game. Yeah.
Yeah, as a puzzle game.
Something fresh.
Yeah. Looks to me like, and I mean they've said as much, but they're really trying to bring like the indie support that the PlayStation 3 has to the Vita, which I think is really neat.
Well, they could do that so easily now with the PlayStation Mobile, and that's something that they showed at the conference itself. They were talking about PlayStation Mobile, and with PlayStation Mobile, they can bring indie developers in. They don't even need a dev kit anymore.
Exactly, and I think that's really cool. Like, I'd be really interested. Again, you know, I'm just like you, Martin. I play most of my games on handhelds now. Yeah. Like, that's just the way my life is. And there are a lot of really cool indie titles that I always want to play, but I just don't have the time to sit in front of my TV and devote, you know, that gaming space. Right. So it's really cool to be able to get those on the Vita, and that there's this pretty steady stream incoming of, you know, indie titles and smaller games coming there.
The thing is, though, are these going to be seen in Japan? Because these type of games I can't see coming, or if they do, they'll be like 3, 4, 5 months behind.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. And, you know, when I first got my Vita, I got an 8 gig memory card.
Right.
Because I thought that'd be enough, and it wasn't.
No.
And so I ended up having to get, you know, the biggest one, the 32 gig. But I still have my 8 gig card. And a while back, I decided to just make that my, like, American account.
Right.
And, you know, it's a pain to switch, but it's not so much a pain. Like, because I'll be getting American games off the store, I'm willing to devote, you know, the 5-10 minutes it takes to switching accounts.
Right.
Like, it's not so painful, you know.
Do you think
I'd rather have that than nothing at all, like on the 3DS.
Do you think the account switching is something that Sony may address with a firmware update?
I think they can. I think they should. I don't think it's I think it's dumb that you have to do it, but I think it's dumb that you have to reset the system.
I mean, because
as long as you save your stuff to the computer, like, you know, back up your system like you back up your phone, it's really not that big of a deal.
Once you do it once, right?
Yeah, once you do it once, like,
a 5-minute gig to reinitialize it, right?
Exactly. Yeah. It's really, like, I think that got exaggerated a lot early on. That, like, oh, it's the worst thing.
That was Medi's fault.
But I mean, yeah, you know, I'm willing to switch to the American store to play some of these indie games. I'm fine with that, you know.
Yeah, and for the price as well, they're pretty well priced.
Exactly.
So, and especially now that you get the PS3 and the Vita version as well, you get both for one.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, Snapshots is another one. You get both.
Do we know if Sound Shapes is going to be that way? Because I'm really interested.
It sounds like that.
I cannot wait to get a game that I can play on both. I'm really looking forward to that.
Yeah, I think sounds. Yes. Yeah.
Oh yeah, the price bet to both the PS3 and the Vita version.
Yep. You can save. It's transferable.
That's brilliant. I love it.
So this is going to change gaming.
Well,
I hope so.
That's what the hashtag was, wasn't it? Sony's game changer. And
I feel like I'm going to see, like, I don't know, like PG-13 movie for the first time or something. Something new.
Right. Well, I think it's awesome. And then you got like the Street Fighter Cross Tekken as well.
Cross system play
with the Vita, which is great, and that game looks amazing on the screen.
Yeah, I refuse to buy it for the console because I'm not going to play the game like super seriously, but for the Vita, I definitely grab it.
Yeah, exactly.
For sure.
That's my take on it as well. So I mean, also what Steven said before, the Zen Pinball 2, you get the Vita version and the PS3 version. I mean, it's the way to go. It's the way to do it. I mean, hopefully,
it's brilliant.
If companies budget their games and they do both and they tie both of them together and it's one price and you download one, you get the other one. It's just the only way to do it, right? Especially now.
Technologically, if you can do it, why the hell not for everything?
Yeah. Why the hell
Make everyone look stupid. This is your one chance.
I mean, it's only going to make someone go out and go, oh, I can carry on playing this outside. I can play it here. Oh, crap, I got to go to work. I mean, I can carry on the bus.
Then you got the lunchtime, and you can whatever.
and then you can come back home and you can put that save, you can throw it back up onto the cloud, and then you can come home and you can switch on your big screen TV and then pull it back down. I mean, that's gamer's heaven, right? You can just keep going. You never have to stop.
Yeah.
Cannot wait.
So
getting excited.
But this is you're starting to get excited about the Vita. Oh my god.
This is what Sony should be pushing. They should be telling every developer, are you doing a PlayStation 3 game? Are you doing a Vita game? They need to talk. If you're not doing it, we don't.
And that being said, now that we can, if they're going to do that, I want to be able to play Gravity Days on my PS3. Ha!
That would be crazy.
But that game's already out. I'm talking about games coming out from now. That game's already out. Gravity Days has been out since February in Japan. So that's already...
I'm not listening to you.
That's already passed. Okay, you're not listening to me, but what I'm saying is games that are coming out now, if you're doing a PS3 version and you're doing a Vita version, they need to...
Going forward, everything must, and then really good games retroactively.
Yeah.
Yeah, they could do that. I don't see why not.
Okay, I would promote you.
Thank you.
Anyway.
Shall we move on?
We shall.
Yes, okay. What have we been playing, Steven?
Yes, thank God.
Thank God.
This is what I've been waiting
Talk
for.
it up, man. Talk it up.
So,
Jesus.
I hear that you've been playing a little PS Vita game.
Oh, whoa, man. Oh,
yay.
because I promoted you now. You're supposed to behave.
Have you just...
Okay, yeah.
Just demoted me?
Red hair.
Yeah, I was like, I played Santa Claus for a couple days. Like, I went to the electronic shop and I did something rare. I ran over the shelf and stole. So they had like the demo cards. Like I didn't expect it because usually you'd think they'd keep these behind the shelf, but they had the demo tickets for Dokuro.
Yep.
On the shelf, just sitting there at pieces of paper.
Yep.
And I walked over there and I saw 5 of them, and I grabbed all 5 by instinct and just kind of fisted it, going, "Make a run for the door!" But then I'm like, no, and I imagine like little kids crying. So I put 2 back, and so I kept 3.
I did exactly the same thing the day after.
Yeah,
I did the same thing. Like there was 3 left, and I took all 3.
Oh, you took all 3, you bastard. Well, I came home, and then you were asking me about it, and then I said, "You want a code? If you have one, yes,
ho, ho, ho. Yes, please."
So I sent you a code, and then
I also got a code from you.
And I sent you a code. I went to the Twitterverse, and you were the first one to respond.
Yep, I did the same thing with Twitter as well. Give them all out.
And then I sat down with it, and my immediate reaction was, this game looks ugly. And then the animation is terrible. And then like this like hidden flavor. It was like, like Japanese food where they call like the hidden flavor umami. You ever heard of that? Like that savory taste? That's kind of what this game had, like hidden underneath. It was like the hidden taste just kind of came out. The charm.
I disagree straight away because I as soon as I switched it on, I was like, wow, it looks great.
You were just starved for some Vita action, I think.
I don't know.
You haven't touched your Vita, what? Let's be honest.
I knew what I knew what I was expecting because I was thinking this is like an indie type game.
Right, it is very indie. It's got indie all over it.
So that's why I didn't have these massive expectations for crazy animation and
yeah. To me, it just looked like a watered down chicken broth, but I didn't know that I had like that monosodium glutamate cube hidden in there that brought out the taste.
They should quote that for the box quote.
Yeah.
But, yeah. So talk about it. You liked it from the beginning, so tell me how you felt.
Well, I thought as soon as I switched it on, it just had so much character to it. I mean, even though the character is extremely simple, I thought he had a lot of character to him. And, I mean, this is
there
a
were little
platformer
things
game.
that he would do.
This is a puzzle platform game, right?
Right. It's a side-scrolling platform game that utilizes, they call in Japanese English, they have Janglish, they say gimmick, but it's basically different things around in the environment that you use to
manipulate.
Yes.
Right.
So basically, you've got this princess, and basically she needs to go from left to right, and you need to
clear the way.
Basically, clear the way for her to get to a flower.
She needs everything to be done for her, basically.
Yeah, she's
There's
really
like a little ledge. She'll just sit there.
Yes. So basically, you need to guide her through a level, and there'll be various objects in the way, and she'll come to a platform, and if there's no platform for her to continue to walk along straight, she'll stop.
Yeah.
And you need to either make something fill a hole to make the platform complete, and then she'll keep walking across, or she'll walk onto something that's swinging, and she'll
Right. They need pendulums, sort of, that were going back and forth.
Yep. So basically, you just need to guide this little princess across the
It's like you're playing with a single lemming, essentially.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Except I think it's worth noting, too, though, that she does not walk off cliffs.
She doesn't walk off cliffs. She stops.
Yeah,
that's true.
Which would be annoying as heck if she did.
Yeah, I'd be extremely annoyed if she kept walking.
She just kind of waits on the curb side for you.
So yeah, so that's good.
Yes.
And so the mechanics. You got some mechanics where you step on a button and something will drop.
Will
down.
stop a pendulum or something.
Yeah,
will drop down.
It'll drop down and it'll allow her to walk. But then it starts adding new mechanics to it. Like it gives you a piece of chalk.
Yes.
So it's really bad, unfortunately. But
sorry.
Visually, it looks really piss poor.
You think so?
Oh God! Come on! After playing like not Sumioni, Jesus, is it Sumioni?
Sumioni, the one that you draw with on the screen, right?
Right.
Yeah.
But it just looked really bad. I felt.
I think it fits with the aesthetic.
Yeah,
though, everything has that sort of chalk.
Yeah, it's
all style.
It's all chalk. Everything's all chalk drawn. Yeah, so I thought
just
it
like
looked
me,
fine.
I could get beyond the fact that I'm on this really beautiful handheld device with those graphics.
No, I disagree.
I honestly, I didn't have a problem with them.
I thought it looked great.
Like the chalk to me was like, no, okay, I couldn't overlook that.
Well,
it was
you get the chalk, and there's, say for example, there's a mechanic where you need to basically draw a line, a rope, and then step on a button, and then when you connect the pivot to the boulder, you connect it, and then that becomes an object in the game which you can manipulate using the button. Right?
Yeah,
I'm right. Okay, so you need to draw like the rope to connect the two objects together in order for it to move. So yeah, it starts to throw in small, simple yet effective mechanics into it, and then it gives you a mechanic where you drink a potion. The potion drink, right?
Yep.
And then you double tap on the front of the screen to turn turn Dokuro into a guy called Hero.
That's right.
And Hero is able to pick up the princess.
Right. Just sort of fireman
and transport her.
And transport her. So, but you have a set amount of time. You have like 20 seconds or so where you can hold the princess, and on the top right hand corner you'll see the
potion going lower and
lower, and then once it runs out, it's gone. But then it'll come back again, right? It doesn't, like, once it's gone, it's not gone.
It recharges pretty quickly.
It recharges pretty quickly. But also another mechanic, you're able to like sword fight.
Yes.
So basically, once you've got this the potion, if you double tap on the screen, the front screen, the actual screen itself, if you double tap on it, he switches from Dokuro to Hero. And then if you double tap on the back, he'll switch back from Hero back to Dokuro.
Yeah, and it's worth saying too that it's very hard to mess that up. Like, you're not going to accidentally double tap the back screen and transform him back into Dokuro. Like, it just, if there's any concerns about that kind of thing, it doesn't happen.
Yeah, it doesn't happen because it's a double tap. It's not a single tap.
Exactly.
I think that's why they did the double tap. But yeah, I mean,
one thing I really liked about it is, like in Super Mario Brothers, you spend the whole damn game trying to get to the end, and then you see the Princess Peach for a second, and then she's gone again. Donkey Kong, same thing. You're never with the princess. In this game, you're with the princess the whole damn game. I don't know. I felt that was a bit of a catharsis for me because I'm like, there she is. I'm playing. Here's the princess. She's not off in some castle that I have to go find. It's a different take on it.
Right. The transforming thing, you can actually switch it from a double tap to the R button.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you can try.
Oh, so the option is there then.
The option is there. You don't have to use the screen. If you don't want to, you can use the R button. Another thing is this whole thing was in English as well. It's if you got your Vita set up in English.
Oh yeah, you're right.
It goes directly into English as well. So if this does come out and it's not out in the West, you can import the Japanese version, or you can download the Japanese version, and it's all going to be in English as well. So that's not a problem. It's already being localized.
It's very Tim Burton.
Yes.
It's very like South Park Tim Burton, I would say, is aesthetic.
Night Before Christmasy, right, with chalk.
And like I'm looking at it right now, he's just kind of sitting there. He started up doing this little dance, and it's very charming. And the princess is like looking at she's at the edge of the ledge, and like below is just like some area, and she's looking down, like kind of like, I wonder when I'll be able to, make it across this. And she's got like her little crown on, and if she like takes a hit, like her crown will fall off and stuff like that. The real subtle little things, but in other words, the graphics, it's very indie, but there is like a attention to detail there that makes it very interesting.
And I was a little bit concerned that having a princess in tow was just kind of going to be really, really annoying, like constantly having to look out for her. But because the whole game is kind of designed around her getting from point A to point B, it just feels really good. Like, I don't know, solving puzzles, like environmental puzzles, just felt really smooth and fun.
And they're not really long and ornate. I mean, you get to the end pretty quick. There's like this little flower at the end, and then it celebrates, and a little line of English appears on screen. That's also very charming.
Yeah, Dokuro's also got a double jump as well.
Yes, he does,
which makes it a lot easier to perform some of these tasks. I mean, some of the tasks are like there's fire, and you have to on a set of stairs. The stairs go down. And there's one of the fire flames touches the last platform, and if the princess stands on it, obviously she burns to death. So you need to use the hero to pick her up and like walk across it, or to jump across it, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's just very simple little mechanics like that. I think it really
it was very soothing actually playing this game while E3 was going on, because I always get a lot of anxiety watching it, like just too much information overload. And then like here's this game, it's just very I don't know, it's everything's just sort of austere. It's very mild mannered. There's nothing in your face. It's just a fun game. It's stripped down graphics, and it shows that you don't need a multi-million-dollar game to have a good time these days.
No,
you really don't.
The thing was this demo as well. If because it was a 3-stage demo, and each level takes about
a minute.
A minute. So this game is perfect for a commute.
Very bite-sized.
And it gives you it tells you your time at the end. So if you want to get later on, that would be a thing.
Yeah, so if you want to go back to it and obviously make get a better
score. It's a pure
score.
Joy, that 1 minute of time.
It is, yeah.
You may die a couple times, so I'd say like 3 minutes or something, but
it's too short to ever really get frustrated.
Also, the thing is with the with this demo carries across. So when you buy the full game.
Right, that's what I was explaining earlier. Yeah. So if you finish all 3 stages, you'll start from 4.
Right.
By the game.
So I mean, I really liked it. It's got a nice push mechanic as well, where you can push an object.
Yellow blocks around.
Push the blocks around, and I mean,
simple.
It's extremely simple. I really enjoyed it. So
simple but effective.
It's $20.
I'm definitely gonna grab it.
$20.
Yes.
I fully recommend it.
Yeah, I definitely recommend it.
Likewise,
it's something I'm definitely going to pick up. And it comes out when? Is it July? It was July, right?
Yes, it's July.
So yeah, I'm definitely going to pick it up, and I'm really looking forward to playing the full game. I actually stopped playing it because I always feel that I want the full experience with the game I buy. You know, so
But that's just it. This particular game, you'll be able to start right where you left off. That's the whole beauty of it.
Still, I still understand that, but I still just want to play it.
But if you know you're going to buy it anyway, why you don't want to spoil it for yourself? You want to, play the game from beginning to end in one go.
Yeah, exactly. So that's the reason I stopped playing it. But I know that I'm going to buy the full game when it comes out. So
the price is right, you know.
Yes, and the price is right as well. So yeah, I was definitely surprised with it because this was a game that I'd only seen the video for when Steven spoke about it.
Yeah, actually, I didn't really know about it either, and then to be playing it the very next week was a pleasant surprise.
Yeah, so I was like thankful for the heads up.
Those Zasshi time that happens rarely.
Exactly,
far between, but
so yes, yeah. So that was a Dokuro demo on the PlayStation Vita. So, there was another game we played, a little game called Tokyo... I don't know, what was it called, Stephen? I can't quite remember. Tokyo...
Are you taking the piss?
Tokyo Theme Park, was it? Was it Tokyo Animals? I don't know.
Tokyo Fun Time?
Tokyo Fun... Yeah, Tokyo Happy Fun Time, right? Yeah. So, no, it was Tokyo Jungle.
Welcome to the jungle.
Welcome to the jungle.
You're going down. Yeah. So I was walking down the street, right? And I witnessed a lion getting mauled by two crocodiles. And I walked right on by and they didn't even notice me.
Stealth.
Welcome to Tokyo Jungle.
Welcome to Tokyo Jungle. Yes. Oh. It should be called Metal Gear Solid.
Right. Can we? Well, let's booknote that.
Okay.
Booknote that.
Noted. Let's get into it.
Wow.
Then.
So I've been playing the hell out of this game, and actually, I just want to go back and play right now. So if we could get this podcast out. Yeah. So I've been playing about 12 hours.
Wow.
I'm on Act 9 right now, and it looks like there's 14 acts in total that make up the story. There are two major components of the game. There's survival mode, and then there's story mode. And right from the get-go, you immediately realize that you have to go to, after you finish a tutorial in story mode, almost everybody by instinct wanted to know what's up with the disappearance of all the people. Why are animals and dinosaurs running around Tokyo? I think a lot of people wanted to go to the story straight away, but you couldn't. So it was locked. You quickly realized you had to go to survival mode and essentially play through and find these, which is kind of weird, but you had to find these memory cards. And by finding these, it has lots of information on there, like archived away, that explains just sort of bits and stories and like articles and then like journals by scientists of things that have happened around the city. And that by getting those 3 cards unlocks the next act within the game.
Whoa.
So this was a bit of a frustration point, I think, for a lot of people. And I gotta say, I was really kind of hyped. I hyped myself up for this game, through Zasshi time and then just us talking about it. And running into this, I was like, oh no, I'm worried this game isn't going to be all that I was hoping for, because I felt like I was being straitjacketed right from the beginning. Martin, you also have a copy. Did you feel something similar, or am I all on my own?
No, I felt exactly the same way. I was really frustrated. It was basically forcing you to go survival mode, then story mode, then survival mode, I was like, wow, really? This is not going to fly in the West. And this is a concern I've got for when it does come out in the West. It's not going to go down too well in the West.
I got to say, though, in playing it, I've kind of calmed down a little bit and am enjoying survival mode a little bit more. And then sort of the acts in the story have just sort of become a dessert for me, because what we were worried about is that the game would get kind of repetitive. In survival mode, essentially what you have to do is you've got your animal of choice. You can choose from 50 different animals, whereas in the story mode, it's essentially just chooses an animal for you. You're made to play a specific character based on the actual story.
Okay.
And so you have your animal of choice. And I had I had three Pomeranians and then a kangaroo I unlocked those from my early pre-purchase. Right? Did you do? You unlocked some animals, right, through a special store purchase?
Well, I got the white and black Pomeranian. I didn't get my panda code for some reason.
Okay.
Which I was quite upset. It's like, oh,
right.
Panda code.
But yeah.
No.
Is it right? In the video, he's just humping, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
You think that's all he does. But yeah, so what you have to do is go around town, and you have to basically mark these territories. There's 4 per each area.
Right.
And once you mark them, it allows you to basically sleep within there's these nests around the area. So if you sustain a lot of damage, you can go to these areas, sleep, and reheal. But at the same time, you have to worry about your hunger, which is always dropping. If you're starving to death, you can't just go sleep it out. So you have to go out and you have to eat. You're constantly trying to consume things before you die, and consume as many calories as possible. And by consuming these calories, you level up from like rookie to veteran, and from veteran ultimately to boss. And once you mark all these areas, you can also unlock a couple females throughout the level. I think there's 1 to 3, and there's 3 different types. There's like Agemesu, there's Tadamesu, and then there's Damemesu. Which is the Agemesu is basically when you level up in the game, your stats increase. If you mate with an Agemesu, the offspring that you have are going to have better stats. They work it out into like it's a percentage of the increased stats that you got. So by constantly creating more and more offspring, like first generation, second generation, third generation. Right now I'm on 14th generation.
Wow.
Their stats increase. But whereas if you have like a Tadamesu, which is just like your average male chick that you want to get mounted and have kids with, you don't get much of a increase in stats. And then the Damemesu is very just like scant increase. And like the Agemesu, the best one, she has like 3 hearts around her, and then another one has like 2 hearts, and another one looks like deformed black AIDS hearts or something like that, right? And with that one, you don't have to level up all the way to boss. So that's one of the benefits of it. Like you can actually, you can just, as long as you mark the 4 territories, you can quickly go find her and then get it on. But when you get to like level 13, 14, 15, you're going to start to see a difference. So if you spend a little bit more time consuming all the calories by killing all your enemies, then you can get up the boss level and find the chick that's got the 3 hearts and then mate with her. So yeah, in doing that, your guys get more and more powerful. And I think basically the meta game within that is to try to like survive to 100 years. And I've made it to like 30 years right now. And they have a whole leaderboard system in there, and it shows you exactly like how everybody's doing. What's really interesting though is it shows the animal that they use to get there. And what completely blows my mind is that there's an animal in the top 10 ranking leaderboard globally, or for Japan for that matter, and it's a baby chick.
Of course.
No bigger than a chicken McNugget is ranked top 10. I'm just like, what? It blows my mind.
Someone with some serious skills.
Yeah,
serious skills, man. I just can't even, my brain cannot even comprehend because it takes so long for that baby chick to fly around. I can't imagine, because the whole board is divided up into 12 different areas, and you start out in Shibuya Ekimai, which is like the Shibuya station, and from there you can go like north or south, right, Martin?
Yes.
And then the area layout is really like linear. So you have to roam from, there's only one way to get from the one area to the next area. Once you're in that area though, right, you're sort of free to roam around, right?
Yes.
Like how you can go vertical. If you have like a small animal, you can like platform your way up to certain areas. So like if you're scared the animals are about to kill your guy or something like that. So there's a little bit like a free roaming around, but as far as going from A to B, B to C, there's these choke points, and it's kind of frustrating because you always start in Shibuya Ekimai, and then you have to go find these SD cards, these 3 cards, and sometimes they're like 5 stages away. So you have to go through all the areas, and then you finally get there, and you can quickly die in the game, right, Martin?
Yeah, you can.
How is that working for you?
Well, sometimes, like, say for example, you would go into an area and it would be plentiful of animals. There'll be so many animals, be great. And then say for instance you turn the corner and you get attacked by maybe like 700 dogs all of a sudden just come out of nowhere.
It's just, it's like
that sounds crazy.
Right, it's a pride of dogs, basically.
They just come of everyone. It's like, oh my god, where did this herd of dogs come from? It's like,
and sometimes it's like a whole, like, every animal from A to Z just comes running out of nowhere.
It comes out of nowhere.
Scripted though.
No, because it seems to be different every time. So you die, and then okay, I'll do it again, and then you get there, and then there'll be no animals, and you'll die of hunger because there's no hunger. So
this is the really brutal thing about the game. Everyone's like, this game is just so unapologetically difficult.
Yeah, so it's
you have to account for so many things.
Yeah.
When you're going into an area, not only that, but like sometimes the smog will descend down, or like poison, like the water will be poisoned or something like that.
Crazy.
So you have this poison meter going up, and you have to get out of this area. And sometimes you get out of the area into the next adjacent area, and even then the poison is still kicking in.
It's still kicking in, and then sometimes you're poisoned as well from food.
Right.
And the only way to get the poison back down is to find food, but there's no food because it's all just disappeared. But then when you die and then go back to the same area, there'll be like a zoo of animals just sitting there waiting for you to eat them, and you're like, where's the consistency? It's like 1 minute there's no animals at all, and you're running around desperately looking for anything, and there's nothing, not even a crow.
Yeah, you're jumping, and then you can flick the right analog stick so that he does this like dive, and basically makes him allowed to traverse, like his base movement speed goes up, right?
Yeah.
But you can't get into some area in time. But sometimes the whole point of creating offspring, so if you die, if you're just your single animal, you die, that's it, you're finished. But if you have offspring, the moment you die, it switches to your offspring.
Yes.
Okay.
So you have a second strike. And if you have like the Age Misu, which is the best Misu, you get like 3 or 4 animals?
Yes.
Or even 5. I can't even remember. But yeah, you get a whole posse of them. But the thing is like, if a bunch of hyenas are chasing you, if you're running away, that's not all. They could be getting eaten behind you. They're lagging behind, and they're getting mogged on. And then you're like, you see all your animals getting mogged on. You're like, oh damn, I'm going down there. I'm going to smack these mothers. And then, yeah, you can get all gobbled up right there on the spot. It takes like 10 minutes just to get all those offspring going, like all lined up.
Yeah, and then say for instance, like you'd be being hunted by like a pack of 25 beagles. And
well, 25. Yeah, but there is a point.
No. There's a point where you were being chased, and there was like 25
it's
beagles.
Like a frothing herd of just beagles.
Right and left, and they.
In the moment the game starts, they're already gnawing on you. Practically. And you don't even have full health.
They could take you out with like 1 swipe, 2 swipes, boom,
like
boom,
2 or 3, yeah,
knocked out, and it's like, wow. But then the next time you go to that area, there's nothing there. It's just weird. It's just not consistent.
But I kind of like that. That's kind of what lends it the Tokyo jungle. Where as quick as you can kill something, there's always something out there that can kill you even quicker.
Yes.
You turn around a corner, it can get dark out suddenly, and you can't see jack. And you're just like...
It actually kind of sounds like survival horror in a way.
It is kind of like that.
That kind of fear. And I feel like the randomness from how you're describing it, it adds to the sense that there's a real, like, ecosystem in the game, you know, like things just sort of happen. And
you're trying to figure it out.
Up.
Like, why, how did I die here? Like, you'll get into an area, like Martin's saying, there's just nothing to eat. And then when you look in the map, you can actually see there's a lot of food in this area, Essa. So it does give you some warning that you're walking into an area that's basically a no food zone. Okay. But you can still walk in though, and you're like, oh, I've got some offspring. So even if my main guy dies, at least I have this, you know, a couple others in bay. But we got lost one point, and they all died from starvation, right?
Yeah, we went in the was it the underground, right?
We went in the underground area. We could not find. We took an elevator down. We're like, where are we going?
Yeah, it was a working elevator. It was like, what? Everything's broken or dead, but there's working elevators in the underground. It's like, okay,
So this is all survival mode.
Yeah, I was gonna say. So what's the story mode?
Right, so the story mode, right? So basically, you get these 3 cards. It unlocks the next mission, and this is really where the game gets fun for me.
Yes, it does, and for me too.
So yeah, you have an act, and within this act, there are like 1 to 4 mini missions that you have to perform. And there's a lot of, it just varies a lot in terms of what you need to do. Like there'll be one area where they'll have like velociraptors, and you have to sneak past them by going from bush to bush with a little Japanese deer. And then the next mission, like you'll have to mark these territories faster than your rival. Like you'll have like two lions or something, and you have to get to mark your territory faster than this one. And then you have to like hunt for pterodactyl babies, and then the moment you kill them to bring them back to feed your baby lion cubs, the mama and papa pterodactyls are coming down on you. Or they'll have like chase scenes where like the parent spots you, you know, or like the beagles Martin was talking about. They're running at you full speed and you have to escape. And then Martin also talked about the Metal Gear Solid.
Funniest thing ever.
Basically you've got this garbage dumpster, and that you can flip it upside down and go in. Yeah. And so that the hyenas don't notice you when you're not moving.
Yeah, so basically you traverse around the level in this garbage can. Basically, it's just doing what they do in Metal Gear, and it's absolutely hilarious because you're a deer, so it's Metal Gear Solid. It's just so funny. I just couldn't stop laughing playing it. It was awesome. But it's weird. Even though that you're still, the hyenas still sometimes like take you out, even though you're totally still.
Yeah, so you have a meter. You have a caution meter that goes up from 1 to 100. You have to be so aware of that, because it doesn't go like from 50, 56, 57. It goes like from 50 to 100 in like 1 second. It goes from 0 to 100 all the time, doesn't it, Martin?
Yep. Boom.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
And sometimes it could be dropping and the animal's coming by and you're like, he's not going to find me. And then he just takes a chunk out of you and you're dead.
Yeah,
but you're sitting there going like, it was my fault. This is Tokyo Jungle. What the hell was I thinking? It somehow makes sense because like that it's supposed to be hardcore.
Yeah.
I really enjoy every time I go back to survival, because you have to go after you finish an act. You're locked out. You can't play until you go back to survival mode and find the next 3 cards. That's really repetitive. But I'm kind of realizing the meta game of trying to survive to 100, and so that's what I'm also trying to do. Like I'm up to year 30 right now.
It sounds like it's a way to try to get you to play all of the game.
It is. They're definitely straitjacketing you, and
so like we want you to play everything, and this is how we're going to make.
It would be a pretty quick game if you just went straight through the story. So, yeah. I'm not enjoying it, but it does feel like a dessert. Like I've earned my dessert.
After the Metal Gear Solid, though, you hit a place where we were surrounded by 5 velociraptors.
Oh.
that was so much fun.
And that was so much fun watching it. Never mind playing it, but yeah.
Yeah, you were watching it, and just like the pure raw fun. Like it's just like a set stage piece, and you had all the different patches of grass and moving through, and then seeing like the sleeping velociraptor there. And what do I do? Because you like when you go for an attack on the jugular, you can hide and just creep up on somebody, and then when you get within like attacking distance, a red lock-on will appear. So the red lock-on appeared on the velociraptor, and we're like, can we kill it? You think? I'm just a Japanese deer.
You get a deer, yeah, you get a deer.
And then I took a bite out of it, and he like woke up, and I'm like, "Mommy!" And I just start running away. And that was
the thing is though, because there's so many animals to choose from. You think, oh, they're all going to be the same. It's like the same type of mechanic. But then you've got like meat eaters and then herbivores as well, right? And you're thinking, what am I going to do as a herbivore? I mean, like what kind of an attack? So for example, the deer, you can headbutt and then kick with your hind legs. So you can do.
And he just kicks it, and it's
you
like
can
a
do combos.
field goal.
Yeah, you can do combos on animals. So you can headbutt an animal, and then when you headbutt it, then you'll get this this red icon that comes up for the attack icon. So you'll headbutt it, and then you can immediately press the attack button, which kicks them with the hind legs. So you can do these combos on animals, and it's hilarious. It's so funny.
Probably one of the funniest things was seeing
a giraffe,
a raging giraffe dressed up in clothes,
What?
just like stomping on a small herd of Pomeranians, and just like going. Rah! It's like, I didn't even know it had like these two really wacky calls, but it was like screaming out bloody murder. This giraffe.
This sounds
like,
so surreal.
Well, when you stomp on animals as just think like American History X and like turn it up like 10. but you're a giraffe. But you're a giraffe. Just think that, and it's like, what? What am I doing? I'm a giraffe stomping fools. It's really crazy.
It is really, really crazy. But he can definitely deliver. They have a Venn diagram, and they've got your stats for all the different animals, like life, attack, speed, hunger, stamina, defense. And but I'll tell you,
it's so much fun.
Right now, we seem to be unable to access PlayStation Network.
From within the game.
What's that?
From within the game.
From within the game.
Do you know if that's just you guys, or is everybody else having problems with that? Because I know a lot of people on Twitter have grabbed this as well.
Yeah, I've not seen. I asked Martin. Martin, you've experienced it, right?
Same thing. I can't buy anything within the game.
Yeah, basically, it says you cannot connect. Please try a different character, and then I keep doing that. So I sent a tweet out to Kataoka, who's the director, and then added Yoshida, his boss. I don't know if it's like an epidemic or something that's happening with a lot of people. And then the shop itself, I don't know. I haven't been able to unlock a lot of costumes as many as I wanted to, considering I'm already like on mission 9 of 14. Mm-hmm. So that's probably one of the weaker links.
Well, this game at E3 was announced that it was coming out in the West.
Yes.
I think Yoshida himself put that out there. I'm not too sure, but yeah, it was announced that it was coming out for the West. This is a game that if you're interested in Japanese games, like just even a little bit, you need to buy this game because it's just crazy and it's funny. Just buy it. I mean, this is a game that I recommend so much because it's just so different. You know, it doesn't look great. No, the animation's crap. There's a lot of real bad bugs in it. There's a lot of sound bugs. But it's just got so much charm because it's just so different.
And all of that shines through, even though like all these things, I mean, drop some negative bombs, but
it
is just the raw fun of it.
So you'd say the positives outweigh the negatives?
Yeah,
by a margin.
By far. I don't know hearing us give an assessment. Did it sound more negative or?
No, it definitely sounds like you guys have been having a lot of fun. Like, playing this game. It kind of strikes me as like two kids walking into a candy store. It's just kind of like, wow. Yeah.
And like, just people watching, there weren't a lot of people watching, but like there'd be 30 people, the same 30 people watching for 3 or 4 hours, like participating and really into it.
Oh, we've just been retweeted. I asked Shuhei Yoshida to come on the podcast. because he's in LA and he just said, "I've got nothing to do. What should I do?" And I said, "Go on a podcast and talk about Tokyo Jungle." I just said we've just been talking about Dokuro, and Dokuro picked that up and just retweeted it. Maybe we should get.
Oh,
them
Dokuro
on as well.
retweeted it.
Yeah,
we should get them on the podcast.
So we should get them on the podcast as well.
Right.
I'd be up for that.
Yeah, that'd be funny. Well,
that'd be good.
Yeah, no, this Tokyo Jungle is something that I definitely recommend. I wholeheartedly recommend. I mean,
it's worth.
It's cheap as well.
It's almost worth importing. I know there are people out there struggling. They've imported it and they can't read everything, but they're playing it anyway and still having a good time.
Mm.
Right. I mean, how often do you see a chimpanzee on the top of a truck, and you can go and stomp the crap out of him as a giraffe? I mean, it doesn't happen often. So
the actual mechanic of like locking on to the enemy and like going for the jugular, or like they make an attack on you and then like it locks on you and you can do a quick dodge, and once you do that quick dodge, you can do the jugular counter attack.
Yes.
Or you can do a critical on an enemy bigger than you, and once you do the critical attack, you can jam on the button and he'll hang on and continue to bite. Right. There's those things, and it's very arcadey. It's fun.
There's another thing that you can do. It's a really nice strategical thing you can do. Say, for instance, there's not a lot of food in this area that you're in, and you do kill something. What you can do is you can kill it, and instead of munching it, you can leave it on the floor, which attracts crows. And then
the crows are everywhere.
Yeah, and the crows start to munch on the dead animal you've left on the floor. So while the crows are munching on a dead animal, you can attack the crows and kill the crows. And those dead
extra food.
And those dead crows will attract more crows, which will attract more food. So even though there's not a lot of food in the actual environment itself, you can make more food by killing it and leaving it and attracting crows. So
you can also grab, if the animal that you killed is smaller than you can grab onto it and drag it around with you.
Yeah, and you can leave it someplace else.
That's interesting.
And then you can eat it, but you have to be careful because if it starts to rot, then you can get poisoned from it.
Yeah.
The food rots too?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh.
There's
If you leave it long enough, it will start to rot. But yeah, it's awesome. It's a game that you must pick up.
Yeah, looks like I'm gonna have to grab it.
I'm surprised you didn't. I know that.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised you didn't.
I mean, I had a pre-order for it actually. It's just this whole week has been very busy, and I haven't had the chance to like get out much past work, and so it just I kept getting put on the back burner. I might run out and grab it tomorrow though.
Oh, I think you should. You'll spend the entire, at least at night when you're at home, you'll spend at least 4 hours playing it at night, laughing your ass off.
Oh man!
Thinking, why didn't I pick those up earlier? And
I want to say, like this director, 26, 27. I think this guy is up and coming big time. I think you can expect more from Crispy.
A lot more. I'd like to see them to do like Urban Jungle or something, like expand on it.
Exactly. I think like there may be some minor issues with this game here and there, but buy it, support them. They get a lot of more money, then they can probably make the game that they probably really wanted to make. I'm sure they wanted just limited resources.
Much bigger game,
just looking at the online leaderboards, you can already tell it sold a lot of copies.
I'm 50,000 in like some of my animals.
Yeah,
really,
they've sold at least 50,000.
And
that's good to hear.
It's very good to hear.
So,
I mean, they were sold out in the store.
It's sold out. Yeah, I mean, I
was at Yodobashi Camera, sold out.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
So,
I'd like to see this do at least over 100.
I would be so pleased if it went over 100. Yeah.
Because I mean, brand new IP, like you can only expect so much. But I think if it did over 100,000 units this past week, that'd be cool, or at least somewhere close.
He went to E3 as well. Kataoka did. Yohei.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
so it looks like he's getting out and mingling, and so I'm sure he's pimping his game.
Well, he needs. A lot
of big developers are pimping his game. It seems, giving him their blessing, which is really cool to see. Like an up and coming young developer
Yes.
Something very ambitious, but obviously they have limited resources. I mean, like certain things really bother you, but you really like the game. Like the UI, it takes forever to like get through certain areas of the game. It's just really slow and sluggish and responding. But yeah, it is what it is. But it's a fantastic game.
It's fantastic. I'll keep saying
it's pretty sluggish, right? Wouldn't you agree?
I'll keep banging the drum. Go buy it. You know.
Yeah.
Go buy it. I mean, you've got no excuse anymore because you can download it as well. So if you can get a Japanese PSN card, you can download it.
Yep.
I mean, you don't have to import it anymore. You can just download
he's got a save for Persona. That's his baby.
That's the thing.
No,
now,
I'm not saying to Elliot. I'm talking about like listeners.
Right.
You don't have to go out and import it or go to PlayAsia and pick it up off PlayAsia.
Just get a Japanese account and buy it.
Japanese account.
No, I say they should wait for it to get a proper Western release so they can support it in that territory.
Yeah. Well, all I'm saying is just buy it and support it.
Yeah, whenever it comes out, just grab it.
Because if you want more games like this in the future, the only way more games like this in the future are going to come out is if it's being supported and
vote with your wallet.
Yep. I mean that's one of the reasons why I really like the PlayStation is because quirky games like this come out.
Yeah.
I don't really see stuff like this being given a chance on any other platform, really. You know, so. Yeah, I think this is pretty awesome. As I said, it's not the best looking game. Yeah, so
for like crazy Japanese games, this probably will be game of the year for me.
Right? Is this the Nobi Nobi Boy of 2012? Is this the Katamari of 2012 or what? What do you think, Elliot?
Mm-hmm. To me, it sounds like it's going to end up being the sort of Katamari, the weird Katamari Damashi type of game of 2012.
Right.
I feel like we haven't had one for a while.
That's what I think it is. It's the Katamari of 2012. So hopefully it gets the support it needs and it does well. Because there's nothing better to see a game by a small developer doing really well. Elliot, I believe you've been playing some games also.
Yeah, speaking of small developers, so last week I talked a little bit about East Origin from Falcom, published by Xseed for Steam.
Okay.
I played a lot more of it this week. So there are 3 main characters. Each has their own story mode, their own separate story, some different bosses, but generally the same levels. I completed Hugo's story, which is one of the main male characters. He fights using projectile magic, so it almost plays like a top-down shooter. But the story mode took me on normal. It took me about 6.5 hours, which was actually really breezy and felt really good for that type of game, for this type of game. And I was actually really surprised with how solid, and this was something I wasn't expecting, with how solid the story was. It felt like in a 6-hour period, because they kind of had to cut all the fat from the narrative. It was just very streamlined, very quick, very to the point, entertaining, a lot of highs and lows. It was very well paced. But yeah, the bosses were insane. Absolutely top of the line action RPG gameplay. I was glued to my laptop for every night. I'd put aside 1 hour before sleep to play, and it was hard to tear myself away from it. I'm really excited to start on the next 2 characters, but after completing the first story mode, it just kind of reinforced that $20 on Steam is a hell of a deal for this game, and it also reinforced that these small developers really understand like why people play games, I feel like, or why people started playing games. Like that just immense satisfaction and attention to detail and fun. I mean, there are very few games I play where I feel like when I hit something, I get immediate gratification in terms of the visuals, the sound, and just everything about it. When you attack something, and what happens when you attack whatever that monster is. And in East Origin, you have pieces of the creature flying everywhere when they die. You have little gems that pop up all over the place that you collect for money that just have a really just effective sound to them. And I don't know, combat is just really, really satisfying and simple, but at the same time, like, complex in the sense that you constantly have to be on your toes because it's so easy to die. And it's just hardcore enough that it satisfies that old school gaming urge in the back of your head.
Oh,
but
nice.
If you like action RPGs, if you ever wanted to play, Secret of Mana, but like super high pace, like super fast, really quick, really kind of dangerous, definitely give Ys Origin a shot, and look into the rest of the series because it's really a gem for sure.
Nice. So you were saying before that this works perfectly well on your MacBook.
On my MacBook Air.
Oh, MacBook Air.
Yeah, it runs perfectly at top settings. So, this game was from 2006. So I mean, it's designed to run on Japanese computers.
They've got expansions and whatnot, right?
For Ys Origin?
Yeah.
What do you mean expansions?
There's nothing been new released after the initial release?
For this particular game, no.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Because they developed the series further. Ys Origin came after the remake of Ys 3, and then they had Ys 6, and then Ys 7 for the PSP when they switched development over to handhelds. Falcom does not develop for PC anymore. They abandoned that platform.
Wow.
And now they're pretty much just handheld only for the time being. But this was one of the last games they made for the PC, yeah. And it's very, very good. The Steam version has true widescreen support, something that the game didn't have back in 2006. And it looks great. I mean, it's a very clean game, and so it holds up really well, I think. And yeah, the music is just some of the best music you're going to hear in Japanese games, period. I'm just going to put that out there. Yeah, Falcom's sound team is incredible. Trust me on this.
That's the music.
Better than Nier, better than Xenoblade?
I'd say, I mean, they're very different types of music, so you got to keep that in mind. The music you hear in an Ys game is like the polar opposite of the stuff you hear in Xenoblade. But I'd say they're both equally awesome. So
cool. So yeah, the Vita version's coming out soon, right?
There is it's a remake of Ys 4, which Falcom never actually developed back in the day. Two Ys 4 games exist. I believe one was made by Hudson, and I can't remember the other company that made the second game. It was Super Nintendo and PC Engine, but they've never made their own version of the game. So they're finally going to make a PlayStation Vita reinterpretation of Ys 4. So it's basically a brand new game, because obviously you can't really take anything over from those old consoles. And they haven't shown it since last year's TGS. So hopefully this year at Tokyo Game Show, they're going to have some really cool stuff to show off.
So yeah.
Is this going to get big lines, you think?
I think so. Falcom, Falcom's a small company. So, for instance, Aono Kiseki, their last Trails game that released in Japan, sold over 150,000 copies its opening week, which for them, that's incredible. That's big numbers. That's super successful numbers. They have a small, dedicated fan base who will buy anything they make, myself included.
Yeah. I was going to say, count you and Kyle in there.
Exactly. And I mean, in that sense, a new Ys game on the Vita, it's not going to shift tons and tons of units, but it'll shift units. Because the Falcom fans they'll be like, okay, new Ys game, I have to buy it. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, it's great that you've got a game where you'll follow to the end of the earth.
Oh, yeah.
And plus
company, at least.
Yeah, I like that. I respect that.
Everyone's got a title where they'll follow to the end of the earth.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. That trust for the developer.
Do you? I don't see you as having one, Martin.
I used to. But yeah.
What was that?
Well, it was Ridge Racer and it was Wipeout.
Right. But you worked there. I mean, something that just you loved from the get-go, and it's pure. I guess Ridge Racer, right?
Yeah, I guess so. That's what all started it all off. I guess Ridge Racer, yeah. Pretty much.
You have to find yourself a game, won't you?
I have to get. Well, I'm thinking, dip my toe into this Persona 4, see what it's all about.
Do it, man. Do it.
Can you try to sell me on this from a person who really loved Catherine?
Yeah, I can. Okay.
Can you spin that one?
I think I can. What did you like about Catherine?
The story, right?
Okay, I liked the fact that it was very mature.
Okay.
And it was very, very complicated love relationship that he really didn't really do with it with malice. He kind of got caught up into it.
Yeah.
The puzzle game was awesome and very deliciously difficult.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, I just like the pacing of the game, the way they broke it up. Like they had you'd see the initial the initial opening sequence, like shows him getting in like worst nightmare trouble with like a girlfriend,
mm-hmm.
and then like falling asleep that night, getting in the core of the game, the puzzle game, and then I loved going to the bar afterwards and talking and kind of really chilling, because I knew that I'd be going into like the jaws of death again.
There's
puzzles.
In a way, the Persona 3 and Persona 4 have a similar kind of structure, that kind of structured game where you have the game is broken up into days.
Okay.
And you have the social elements where you mingle with people and forge relationships, and with friends, with possible lovers, with teachers, anybody. You can forge these relationships that make your abilities stronger when you go into the sort of world where you're fighting monsters. And you only can go to that world at night. So in the evening. So you have the whole day to do all this stuff, club activities, all these things. It takes place in a Japanese high school, and it's actually
how is the time progressing in the day? Is that just like
time progresses
every second is X amount of minutes, or
it's based on the things you do. So
okay.
If you do something, if you do an event, then it's gonna fast forward you through the day.
So if you're just like idling around, it's not
nothing's gonna happen. No.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good.
And when you go into the actual dungeon, it's a dungeon crawl, but the combat is pretty challenging, and it's very customizable because of the different personas you can use. You can find a play style that works for you. There's a lot of options in the game. No two playthroughs are going to be the same because you're going to forge different types of relationships. You're going to choose to talk to different types of people and sort of make your own story with your character, so to speak. There's a lot of freedom in that way, kind of like Catherine. There's a lot of elements shared between the two games in that sense, especially like the social bits.
Is it because I'm kind of like I've come to Japan like pre-anime, like when I got here. I mean, I'm not really into anime per se. Will people like who aren't necessarily into anime still like be able to enjoy the game?
I think so, yeah, because especially if you've ever lived in Japan. Obviously, we all live in Japan, but the game takes place in Inaka, so like middle of nowhere, and so it has that very like homely vibe, and it's a murder mystery. That's the story. There are murders going on, and you're trying to figure out what it is. You're not trying to save the world. You're not like a group of teenagers trying to like, bring down the evil empire. It's nothing that big. Like the story isn't that massive scale. It's a much smaller personal scale. And I think that works in its favor. I think it's more interesting because of it.
Are there any horror elements in there whatsoever? No, probably not.
I mean, not as intense as Catherine, but there's some horror elements. Like some of the ways that people are murdered and like some of the plot points are definitely very, kind of gets you down. But if you play it, you'll see that like Catherine is kind of the natural evolution in a lot of like story and narrative ways. Which I think is because I really loved Catherine.
As did Steven.
It hit all the right notes for me. So I think you should give it a try, definitely.
I think I may do that.
I'll let you know because I'm going to grab it. I haven't played it since something like what? Maybe 6 years ago, 5 years ago.
Oh, whether you've kind of outgrown it?
I played it when it first released in the States, so I'm looking forward to getting back to it again.
This time in high-res HD loveliness, right?
Is it very
in
difficult?
Japanese, too.
Japanese.
Is the game very difficult?
Well, I'm just that Catherine to me was...
It's not as difficult as Catherine, because they're very different. You know, one is a turn-based battle system, the other is crazy think on your toes reflexes.
Right.
But the combat is deep and, you know, very rewarding. And if you don't know what you're doing, you'll get killed very quickly. So yeah, you know, it's difficult. There'll always be someone out there who will tell you it was easy as pie, but I found it, you know, challenging.
Maybe Kyle.
And you have different difficulty settings too.
Okay.
So, you know, you can choose medium or you can choose, you know, hard or very hard or whatever. And sort of adjust for your own personal tastes.
So, are you convinced, Stephen?
I don't know. I mean, well, time-wise, I'm just trying to figure out all the games that I'm going to be devoting time to.
That's the other thing. This is a very long game.
Is this a good game for a commute? You could do like 20 minutes on a train?
Definitely a good game for a commute.
Oh, I see.
It's very bite-sized in that sense. Because you can go into the dungeon and you explore one level of the dungeon and then just, you know, head out and pause the game there.
That might be good for your train journey.
In fact,
Yeah.
I would argue
you
these
do get a
Persona
seat,
games
right?
are better suited for handheld in that sense because you don't have to sit down and devote hours upon hours to get something done.
Right. But so this sounds like it's a good game for Stephen for his commute because he does get a seat.
Yeah,
Definitely.
you get a seat.
How long is your journey?
25 minutes.
Yeah, that's perfect. That's great.
What could he do in 25 minutes on average?
Depends. You could do a ton of different like social things, or you could explore the dungeon and get a couple floors in. There's a lot to do in this game, so pretty much anything.
Is it fully voice or is it just all text?
It's mostly voiced.
Okay, that's good. Well done. I mean,
Yeah,
on par with Catherine.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, a lot. You'll hear a lot of similar voice actors.
No whiny anime chicks.
Not really, no. I mean, you have one character later on who's like a former idol, and like part of her story, like part of the story is about facing your true self. I mean, that's why it's called Persona. It's like facing the self inside of you that you kind of reject, and like characters start off one way, and sort of have to kind of look into themselves and realize, you know, this is who I really am, and I need to stop rejecting this part of myself. And so you'll have characters who appear one way but are actually the other. So don't necessarily judge archetypes immediately, because you'll find that those might not necessarily be true.
Right.
Ooh, getting interesting.
It's good. It's a great game.
Ooh,
I mean, there's a reason it's like one of Kyle's favorite games ever. I think I remember him saying, but
yeah, I mean, you guys are both on the show. I think Martin and I should try to branch out and play some of those. And it definitely, Atlas puts out some really interesting games.
If nothing else, it's definitely quality. You know?
Well,
Okay.
Atlas, as of late, have been putting quality titles out, so I'd like to dip in.
Yeah, man, dip your toes.
See what happens.
How much is this?
This is a pricier one.
Oh,
Yeah, this is on the expensive end as far as games go, unfortunately.
talking 5.
No. We're talking, okay, are you ready for this? 7,329 yen.
I'm buying that used.
But you're not going to see this used for ages.
Yeah.
Man, I don't know if I can afford all this stuff. Look at a Lollipop Chainsaw next week.
Yeah.
Got Steel Battalion coming up. I got Jet Set Radio.
Jet Set Radio?
Jet Set Radio, there's no release date for Japan yet,
Nope.
so don't worry about that.
Okay, that's one off the list. That's good.
There's no Japanese.
It hasn't even been announced for
Japan yet, no.
Japan yet, period.
No. Even, it was just announced for the US market for now. But, yeah.
And they asked about it, and they were like,
That's right. They didn't because they
plans.
didn't have a date for Japan. I just assumed it was going to be coming. Wow.
Yeah.
Yes. So, yeah, you can save some money there.
True that.
True that.
Okay, that's on the maybe list.
Yeah, maybe Amazon Japan, it would be cheaper, right?
Yeah, you should be able to find much cheaper than the actual retail price. So it's a very stylish game, just like Catherine was. So
Right. Oh, that game was oozing with style and panache.
that was my game of the year that year.
It probably was for me.
Yeah, like looking back on it, it stuck with me the most.
It really did.
Like,
I'm going to go back and play it.
I have it in English, and I'm excited to play the localized version too.
I didn't like the voices.
No, really? I heard the localized version was really good.
Okay.
No, the guy who played who was the guy in Catherine? Who was...
Troy Baker?
No. The actual character's name?
Vincent.
Vincent. The guy who played the Japanese Vincent was amazing.
That scream was amazing.
Very, very convincing.
The book was actually pretty good.
You read the book?
Yeah, I read the novel.
Was it particularly different, or was it just...
Yeah, it was. There was a lot more stuff that just really fleshed out a lot of the story. It was pretty intense.
Atlas actually...
that was my big geek out moment of the year. I was rushing on the first day to go buy the novel.
Actually, Atlas and Dengeki, the publishing company here, just released a Persona 4 novel. Only it takes place a year after the game and stars one of the main characters, Naoto, as a detective. And it's really cool looking. But yeah, I digress.
Okay, well, let's get off this Persona trip. And let's go into world-famous Famitsu Zasshi time!
Zasshi time!
After E3, man, it's geek sauce.
Yeah,
Mood kill.
So less Zasshi time and more Zasshi time.
No, we gotta hammer it up, right?
I gotta just spin it somehow.
We were just speaking about Catherine, so there's a Catherine anime coming, is there?
Hmm?
No, there's talk of one coming.
Oh, there's talk of one, okay.
It's like a rumor?
It's just a rumor I'd like to cling on to. Just because of I think the fans have really
taken
been
to it.
at Atlas over and over again. Just a lot of people, like you say, it really stuck with them, the characters and all of that. And I think people just want to see that more fleshed out. But it's probably pretty difficult the way the story is. I mean, it's kind of hard to do anything with that, additional that you already have it done. So,
as narratively heavy as it is, it's also just very gamey too. Especially with the climbing and the levels and stuff. I feel like that'd be really hard to adapt as an animation. I don't know.
From what I've seen, I mean, you still go to the video game stores now, and Catherine is still prominent in the video game stores. I mean,
yeah.
I'm talking about like accessories and stuff, and pillows, and just weird stuff. But that's all affiliated with Catherine. It's still pretty prominent in the game stores. So I wouldn't be surprised if there was an Catherine anime. What the hell is going on? I wouldn't be surprised if there was a Catherine anime in the works. Are you flipping through the pages with a chainsaw, Steven?
I think that was that me?
I don't know. It wasn't me.
I thought that was Elliot.
I was flipping pages. I didn't think it sounded like that, though.
Yeah, it sounded like someone was flipping the pages through with a chainsaw or something.
Don't mind me with my chainsaw.
It's funny. Oh, I got something to tell you. Just about school, quickly.
Go for it.
ABCs. I'm doing ABCs with the kids. Get to X. Yeah? 2 kids shout Jason.
Wait, what?
I'll leave it there.
Heavy rain?
Yes. I get to X, and they shout Jason, and I just pissed myself laughing.
How many kids?
2 boys.
2?
Yeah.
Were they like buddies?
Yes, they sit right next to each other, and they're well into video games.
Oh, okay.
Constantly talking about them, and they shouted Jason when I said X.
That's pretty cool.
So that was pretty
That's
funny.
Amazing.
So yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. Yeah.
Man.
I was just reading, Hiraoka, he says, it's really difficult to make a spin-off of this, so don't know.
Okay.
Hopefully.
So Capcom Summer Japan, what's going on here, Steve?
This is just a big event they're going to be having in Tokyo.
Yeah. Okay,
what's showcasing a lot of their games there, so.
But
I don't know what's going to be playable and what's not.
When is it?
So this is going to be on June 30th to July 1st. 2 days in Tokyo at the Tokyo Big Sight.
Oh, okay. So that's by Odaiba.
Yeah.
That's where the end of the marathon was, the Tokyo Marathon.
Correct.
Right.
Yes.
They're probably going to have the newest Monster Hunter.
A lot of stuff probably from E3 that they showed, I'm guessing.
There's a huge life-size Gundam down there as well.
Yeah, by Odaiba. But actually, I was reading that they're going to have the newest info on Monster Hunter 4. at this Summer Jam or the Summer Japan thing. So
Monster Hunter 4. You mean what, for the 3DS?
For the 3DS, yeah. They're going to finally start pushing some details on that.
Oh, okay. That's good. That's
Pretty nice to see.
People go crazy for that. Yeah, I'd like to see what
online.
Yeah, honest.
I mean, Biohazard, I've already played that a bit. You know, Steel Battalion. I mean, you never know with these things. They you know, some things come out in the West early. Sometimes you get demos early in the West.
You've played Biohazard 6?
Oh, not 6. Sorry.
Yeah, I was going to say you ain't played that.
No, I didn't get the copy that had it.
No, you're not a time traveler.
Dragon's Dogma.
You are not a time traveler. Speaking about time travelers, Elliot.
Yeah. So, Level 5 is releasing their newest game, Time Travelers, on July 12th. And for those of you who don't know it, it's basically a visual novel, and it's kind of like a little bit like Heavy Rain as well in terms of like the way it uses QuickTime events. Okay. It's from a man named Jiro Ishii, who directed a visual novel for the Wii called 428.
Yeah, that was also ported to the PS3, right?
It's ported to I believe the PS3 and the PSP as well.
Yeah.
And it's very well loved. I've never played it personally, but I've heard nothing but amazing things about it. They got a 40 out of 40 in Famitsu back in the day. I believe it was the 9th game to get a perfect score in Famitsu at the time.
Right.
But yeah, it's very well renowned for its writing and its narrative. So Time Travelers is kind of getting a lot of hype from that as well.
Okay.
But you have multiple main characters in this game, and basically you choose one and you go through their story. And they have these things called PCEs, which stand for Playing Cinema Events, English. And basically they're QuickTime events, but they're done in such a way that whether you succeed or fail changes the outcome of the story and what direction you're heading in.
Right. Just by making one mistake.
Yeah, so it's less like an instant failure and more of a, okay, now you're going this way, So
if you failed when you're supposed to be looking at her blouse, what's in between her blouse?
Then who knows? Yeah, something different could happen.
They've got a B mark on her breastises.
Yeah. And it's interesting because the entire game, they've had trailers and it's very cinematic, and I can't help but wonder if it's just foregoing still images completely, which is kind of a staple of the genre, and I think it'd be pretty incredible if the whole thing was entirely animated. But it's releasing for the 3DS, the Vita, and the PSP. But in all honesty, with a game like this that's going to have so much text and just you're going to be reading a lot, I would say picking it up on the Vita is probably your best bet.
Yeah, it's because it's got the best screen, right?
Yeah, I played Zennin Shibodes, Good People Die, which is being released by Axis in America as Virtue's Last Resort. And It's the sequel to 999 for the DS.
Yeah.
And I got it for the Vita, and I definitely don't regret that purchase because I played the demo on the 3DS. And yeah, reading that much text, reading like 42 hours worth of text and listening to the audio is just not going to be a fun experience on a small screen.
42 hours of text?
I mean, that game was fully voiced, and there's puzzles and stuff. It's a long game, but it's actually quite fantastic. But when you're going to be playing these long narrative-heavy games, you want to play it on as nice a screen as possible.
Right. Totally agree.
Yeah. But I'm definitely...
He looks like Marty McFly's puffer jacket.
Yeah, a little bit. And the crazy thing about this female main character is that depending on the character story you choose, she will be in each and every story, only she'll be a different person, which has something to do with the storyline, but I'm not sure yet. So in this version, she's this scientist's daughter, but then in another story, she'll be your girlfriend, but she'll have a completely different personality and be a different person entirely, except for her looks being the same. So there's some weird, funky time traveling stuff going on here, but it all looks very cool.
Awesome. So would you pick it up?
I'm picking this up day one, definitely. I'm very excited about this.
So this is July 12th, right?
Yep, Summer Games.
Summer Game. Your wallet's going to be crying.
Oh, yeah. Don't remind me. I'm forgetting about it.
Speaking about crying, I was crying playing Earth Defense Force on the PSP when it came out.
So was I.
Yeah, and it's now getting a Vita release.
Which version of Earth Defense Force?
It looks like the original Xbox 360 version.
Oh, so
didn't have camera problems, right?
It did.
No.
It did. It had camera problems, but nowhere near as bad as the camera problems on the PSP.
So that's Earth Defense Force 3. Am I correct here?
Yeah, but on the Vita, they're just going portable, right?
Yeah.
And you're going to have online play via infrastructure mode, right?
That's big.
Yes.
Which is kind of what makes me interested.
Yes, this is making me want to go pick it up. For the reason being that it's online multiplayer, and that's it.
That's very cool.
If it didn't have online multiplayer, I wouldn't bother.
It. Yeah,
I wouldn't bother, especially with the assault. It did on me last time when I played it on the PSP, because I actually live streamed it as well, and I'm pretty sure it was trying to kill everybody who was watching the stream.
And then we got yelled at for complaining about that.
Yeah,
seriously.
Yeah,
that's totally serious. But yeah, I had it hooked up to I had the PSP hooked up to the capture card, and the great thing about the PSP, you could do the video out. Hello, Vita. Stupid idea. Why take it out? Anyway, yeah, the PSP had the video out so I could live stream it, and it just made things so much easier. But now they decided, hey, take it out. Idiots. I think that's one of the reasons why Sony didn't showcase Vita games, because it's a lot more difficult because there's no video out. Right?
Maybe. I know the units are out there, though, because they...
Oh, no, the dev kits have got video out.
Yeah, because Soul Sacrifice had... When they did the demo in Japan, they were doing video out.
Yeah. No, the dev kits do, but yeah, I don't know. It's crazy. Anyways, yeah, so Earth Defense Force is coming. It just says fall 2012, right?
Yes.
Does it have any other information in there other than it's got online play infrastructure? Isn't it 4 players?
It is 4 players, yeah.
Yeah, it's 4 player.
Okay, and any other information in there that would tickle you?
It's going to be insane.
If you don't know what Earth Defense Force is, it's basically huge bugs come down from space, I guess, and you're in a defense force pretty much, and you just shoot ants and
you defend.
And you defend. Yeah, it's awesome though.
It is. It's so much fun.
Yeah, I mean, it's a budget game. It looks pretty crappy.
It always reminded me of It Came from the Desert.
Yeah, exactly.
Cinemaware.
It came from the desert. That's because
I love that game.
The huge ants, right?
The mood, the atmosphere was amazing.
Yeah, but
this is like more like, yeah, they're all on you all the time. Tons of ants, full invasion.
The funny thing about the PlayStation Portable version of Earth Defense Force was when a building was covered in ants, you could blow the building up and just kill everything in one go. It was great. So you could attract all of the ants. You could attract all of the ants to your position, and then basically run behind a building, and then the ants would swarm the building, and then you could take them all out in one go by just destroying the building, and then boom.
That's pretty satisfying.
That sounds awesome.
Any excuse to blow up a building has got to be good.
Yeah, it was great watching the building go down and all of the ants just fly all over the screen.
Awesome.
Yeah, it was pretty awesome. Was anything else in
I don't think so. Yeah, they just pushed the 4-player online. That's a big thing.
Okay, so we got the cross reviews as well for
Lollipop Chainsaw. I said it right.
Lollipop. Yeah. You did. Lollipop
Platinum.
Chainsaw.
They Platina. They got platinum, man.
Platinum. That's
Nice.
3 9s, right?
4 9s.
4
Both
9s.
Xbox and PS3, of course. Yeah. So story mode. It's actually looks like it's a pretty short game. 8 to 10 hours to finish the story mode.
Is that short?
That sounds about right, though, I think, for this type of game.
I wouldn't want it any longer than 10 hours.
Well, and 8 is kind of like short.
No, I wouldn't say so.
But that's pretty long for like a B action movie. That's about all I could take, probably.
Yeah, I mean, about what?
Buffy the Vampire Slayer, essentially.
Vanquish was only about 8 hours, 9 hours, right?
Vanquish was even shorter than that. I mean.
Yeah, so you didn't have a problem with that, so you shouldn't have a problem with Lollipop.
Okay.
Yeah, get off the bus. Anyways, next. Persona.
Persona, yes. Got 3 9s and 1 8.
What? Any comments on there that caught your eye?
Well, the total clear time, which shouldn't come as much of a surprise, is around 80 hours.
Gee, there you go. That's
which is about right.
Yep. That's your money's worth, right? 80 hours of gameplay.
And then to actually like do everything there is to do in the game is well over 100 hours, which is also about right. This is a long game. They talk a lot about how the new background music and the new cinemas and stuff are really cool. The added content is good. It adds a lot of replay value. They reviewed this game 4 years ago when it first came out, and they loved it then, and they still love it now from what it sounds like. Nothing game-breaking here. No frame rate issues, camera stuff. Everything seems fine.
Wonderful.
All's good in the neighborhood.
Excellent. Anything else in Famitsu that you would like to get out of your chest?
No.
Post E3, man. I think we talked about a lot, considering.
Just regurgitating info here.
Okay, good. Well, I'll just quick media create. Dragon Quest Monsters.
Terry's Wonderland 3D.
Terry's No Wonderland 3D sold 513,000 units.
Keep in mind, this is a remake of a game.
Yeah.
Insane.
Yeah.
That's nuts. That is crazy.
And what? This is second only to Monster Hunter, isn't it? In terms of opening week sales on the 3DS.
More. I think it sold more.
I think Monster Hunter was some 527,000.
Oh, really? Oh, okay. Well, yeah, it's still crazy numbers, anyways.
Yeah, just ridiculous.
Yeah. Well done to them, and it's a remake as well. So, was it a GBA game?
Might have been, yeah.
I think it was a GBA
game. Monsters games.
Right, Kyle actually bought the limited edition Dragon Quest Monsters 3DS.
Oh man!
And he did an unboxing video, and he threw that up on YouTube, and I'll put the link into that if you want to see it. It's a nice looking 3DS. It's got the what you call it, the slimes, the blue slimes on the front.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty nice. It comes in a nice box, nice little presentation box. Yeah, but those numbers are crazy. Then you got Dragon's Dogma at number 2, clocking
holding on.
Sorry?
It's holding on.
Yeah, it's clocking in at almost 385,000 units. That's the second week. Then you got Mario Tennis, then Mario Party 3. Then you've got the Guild
1, Level 5.
Level 5. It's 15,000 units basically. You bought that.
I did buy it.
Did you get into those other 2 games?
I never got around to it. No.
Never got
I
around
haven't touched
to
the
it.
game.
Okay.
Are you going to go back to it or what?
I'm definitely going to go back to it. Just finding the time to sit down and start them is the big thing. I played a little bit of the blacksmith game where you make the weapons for the heroes, and it's pretty interesting. It's kind of like a rhythm game. It's a rhythm game, essentially.
Huh.
And you have to tap along and in different places, too, so you can mold the weapon. And then you combine elements as well to give it certain attributes. It looks like it has a little bit of depth to it, so I'm interested in continuing it further.
Right. Then we've got Fist of the North Star Pachinko Slot. Woohoo! Yeah, that came in at number 6, and that's 14,000 units. You got in number 7 was Mario Land 3D, which has basically sold 1.6 million units, which is great. It's a hell of a game. Then we have
Sokoku no Kusabi, which is an otome, so a girl's visual novel.
Girl's visual novel, yes, by Idea Factory, 10,000 units. Then Fire Emblem.
Jeez, still holding in there.
Still holding in there, yeah. Basically 400,000 units now.
It's probably one of its last weeks on there.
I don't know. It's been doing like 10,000 every week for like the past.
It's like down 34% this time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then at number 10, I don't know where the hell this one come from. Mario Kart.
Yeah, baby.
It's gone from 14 to 10. So for some reason,
what?
Was it a price drop or something?
No,
I think it was probably because people who've just bought the 3DS because of Dragon's Quest Monsters have decided, I want another game.
Ah.
And it's bumped again.
There you go. I'm analyzing an analyst. There you go.
Well, because the 3DS, because the Monster Dragon's Quest Monsters, when that come out, it went from the previous week, it was 55,000 units, and then it jumped to 101,000.
That's a lot of peeps online. I should go back and play some of that.
So I'm thinking basically people who bought the 3DS have also bought a second title.
Yeah, and I mean, why not get a multiplayer one?
Maybe a third as well, because Super Mario Land 3D went from 10 to 7. So
I have yet to gold all the 150 cc's, so I should go back to that.
Right. Yeah. So I mean, it's doing well. The PSP sold basically 10,500 units, and the PS Vita had a slight bump.
Random.
Not too sure why, of like 1,000 units more. So basically sold 7,500 units. Yeah. So everything else is pretty much status quo.
Probably Yoshida's buying them in bulk.
Probably.
Oh, that makes me sad.
Probably. Okay, so emails and tweets. We haven't got so many this week. I guess everyone's been busy with E3, so yeah, Crackalack and Z with his obligatory food fight question. He says, Noodle Battle Royale.
Whoa, what is this?
He says, Udon
Double
versus
battle?
ramen. Udon versus ramen versus soba versus somen.
What does that even mean?
Oh, man.
Just means,
Wait,
means
are they all
one.
just fighting together?
Yeah, just pick one. What are you going to eat? Udon, ramen, soba, somen.
Oh, wait, this is summer.
Somen.
Summer. Oh, I'm just saying summer is somen. So.
Yeah, I was going to say, I was going to do somen anyway. That's because that's what I like.
I'm going to have to go with ramen. Today I had some of the best ramen I've had.
Even in this heat?
Yeah, even in the heat, man. So, ramen all day, every day.
Really?
It's just so good. I could eat it anytime. Seriously, if you stranded me on an island and told me I could only have one like type of food forever,
Chocolate.
I would say like Japanese
Twix
ramen.
A Twix.
Dude, have you ever been to Shikoku though? Like Takamatsu udon will blow your mind.
I love udon. Don't get me wrong. I absolutely.
They actually step on it, like when they're when they make wine in France and stuff like that. When they
Really?
step on the grapes, they actually step on the noodles, and it's got they say koshi, so it's got that like
skin
resistance when you bite on it.
Oh, that's good.
Amazing. I had like shrimp and meat together with the udon. Did our bike trips through Shikoku. And $10. It's only $10, but it was. I'm like, I don't know. We're talking like the best of the best.
You're gonna get yourself hungry in a minute, Steve.
What?
You're gonna start like drooling and going, "Oh, I need to go to the conveni. I'm hungry."
Conveni. I'm going on a dirty conveni run at 1 a.m.
Yeah, you want some farmy chicken?
No.
Nah, man, it's all about the El Chicken.
None of that stuff. Don't touch that with a 10-foot cattle prod, man.
What? Oh man, you're hurting
that.
me.
Nah, I ain't giving you any of that love.
You're hurting me, man.
Well, Mini Stop does the best chicken anyway.
Conveni food.
No, it's all at Lawson's. The El Chicky, man.
No, Mini Stop's best.
Here we are talking about quality food. You guys are getting ghetto.
I've only got ghetto money.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I go with somen.
College students could afford ramen.
I didn't choose ramen. I went with somen.
No, the great thing
I'm going to go with
all
somen
these-
because it's summer.
I always choose somen anyway because
Somen is cold noodles, right? Essentially.
Yes.
Soba is buckwheat noodle. Ramen is ramen. Udon is more like a fat, like fettuccine type noodle.
Yes. The great thing about all four of these, though, is that you can get them for relatively cheap.
Well, I like the suyu. What is it? Suyu,
low carbs, high protein.
Yes.
Suyu sauce is great.
Oh yeah, agreed.
That's why I like it because it's just.
Somen is great with chicken. Oh, you get like steamed chicken.
I picked ramen, but I love all of them, so it's sort of a moot point.
See, but with ramen comes like chahan and beer, and then it's just like down spirals, and you get gyoza.
Yep.
Over for you.
Do you like katsuobushi?
Not.
Talk about this? Oh, that's right. Didn't we do this?
Not huge.
No. Okay. Well, I like it with the ice anyway. The somen with the ice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, I had to.
Somen is the winner, I think.
Yeah, someone wins. That's okay. I like somen too. So.
All good. It's all good. Yes.
All good.
So, okay. So, Crackalack and Z, thank you very much for your food questions. Love them. Okay. Was it Kiev? Is that Kiev?
Kiev
Descent says, does Japan feel crowded, or is it exclusive to big cities? Well, if you go out in the sticks, no. Feels like there's no one around.
80% mountains.
Yeah.
It's the whole thing about you can get lost in Japan trips just like an hour out of the city, and you're just in mountain country land.
And there's basically no one there other than like maybe old people in the paddy
really
farms.
Good camping in Japan, needless to say.
I mean, you have, the small towns just like you would have in the States. Where I live, it's smaller. It does not feel crowded at all. But if I go into Fukuoka or Nagasaki, I mean, it's a big city, so tons of people all over the place all the time.
If you look at a topographical map of Japan, you could see where everybody's concentrated.
Exactly.
Yeah, Japan's like
the mountains.
85% mountains, right?
Yeah.
It's
just look at all that. You know that most of it isn't crowded.
85% inhabitable.
Yeah.
Right. So, yeah, everyone's...
Or like in villages, right, throughout
exactly.
that area.
But yeah, you can still go to small, like, you can get out of the city and be like less than an hour out of the city and there's nobody.
Sometimes, depending on what city, too, I mean, even less than that, 30 minutes out on a train, if you get off at the stop, you're like, am I in the middle of nowhere? No.
And actually the roads in Japan, how well they're paved is like legendary. People will come even from overseas to do like lots of bike races and so host races here just because it's just... They have all this extra money for taxes, and they've got to spend them, so they spend them on the roads and keep them immaculate. It's great riding.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good. It's great for motorbike riding as well.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I can imagine.
I enjoy getting on my bike and then just going flying through the mountains. It's extremely peaceful. Then you can get off and then just still be nobody there. No, you don't hear it. Don't hear a single person. You don't see a single car for like an hour or something like that.
Yeah,
it's amazing. But if you run into trouble, you've had it.
I mean, Japan's very cool that way, like just the different types of geography that's very close to each other. You can have that big city and you can still have your outdoors wilderness. You get to have your cake and eat it too, which is pretty cool.
Yes, I mean, I live like where I live in Nagoya. I mean, I can drive 2 hours and then I can be like snowboarding and stuff, and then come
That's
back.
Pretty much.
And
I know.
Back in the city, so yeah, it's pretty cool. And then they can drive another 2 hours and I can be on the beach where everyone's surfing.
Not even 2 hours, an hour.
It's not even. Yeah, it's about an hour, right?
Yeah. So
yeah, I mean, the geography is in Japan is pretty amazing. So yeah. It's a great place to be. It doesn't. Yeah, the cities feel really crowded, like the big cities, like obviously Tokyo. Tokyo just feels crowded.
Japan, yeah, Tokyo.
Even when you're asleep, it feels crowded.
But Tokyo isn't a good representation of Japan in some ways because it's so like crowded and packed and just intense all the time.
Yeah, I mean during the day, there's like 50 million people in Tokyo.
Wow.
There's like 25.
50?
Yeah, there's like
25 million.
There's 25 million. There's 25 million who live there, but during the day, people come from all the surrounding areas, all commute into the city. They said there's about 50 million people in Tokyo during the day.
Oh, jeez.
Happy to be in Yokohama.
Yeah, but then don't you commute into Tokyo?
I'm just south of Tokyo.
Okay, well, fair enough. Well, you're just a statistic.
Damn.
You're just a statistic.
It's okay. I love you, Steve. It's okay.
Anyways, it's 1:20 a.m.
Yeah.
I think we should wrap it up.
Oh, yes, because you bastard, you got your day off tomorrow.
Oh, yeah.
Us.
You need to get your ass down to the video game store, go buy Tokyo Jungle, and then I just want to see just tweets of you just pissing yourself laughing. Okay?
I'll get on that.
You should.
And then also we did do a couple videos. Hopefully you can put those in so people can see those.
Oh yeah, I'll put them in. I put everything in.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. So let's wrap it up. So if you'd like to follow us on Twitter, it's Red Sun Gamer or at Red Sun Gamer on Twitter. I am DJ Mizuhara, which is DJMIZUHARA. You can follow us on our YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/RedSunGamerTV. Okay, don't forget the TV. And if you want to follow Steven on Twitter, it's
Steve_RedSunG.
Oh my God, he got it right. Elliot?
Ryoga Saotome, RYOUGA SAOTOME.
Splendid, no interruptions. Lovely. I'm digging at
I think
somebody.
I fell asleep there.
Why are you so mean to me?
Why are you so mean? Yes, if you'd like to get on the forums, we have basically a thread of our own on the NeoGAF. If you can go and comment on the podcast on there. We also have a thread in what is it, Stephen? It's Retroids, right? Retroids.com. You can go there, sign up. There's a pretty good community on there. You can leave some comments on there. And yeah, this on our site, redzonegamer.com. You could leave comments on there as well. But yeah, I probably just go to the NeoGAF.
At this point, probably just go to GAF.
Yeah.
Yes.
If you can't post, go to just tweet us. We check those. Otherwise, tumbleweeds at Retroids. But we appreciate that.
Yes, very much tumbleweeds. Anyways,
we like tumbleweeds.
Do we?
Don't ask me that.
Anyways, we also live stream as well on twitch.tv/RedZoneGamer. We've been doing live streams a lot more. Basically,
got my capture card. Yeah,
you got your capture card. I've got a capture card. We're just doing them a lot more frequent now. So yeah,
we got to get out a Ni no Kuni one, dude.
Yeah, you got to do that. But yeah, we starting the streams again, which is good. I'd like to. I like everyone to be able to do it. So everyone can show their type of game, because everyone's got their own type of game that they like to play. So I'd like to be able to show everybody, like, everyone's flavor,
game of choice,
game of choice, flavors. So being able to show what's what, it'd be cool. But yeah, costs money to do that.
Very true.
Capture cards are not exactly cheap.
One of these days, I plan on getting around to it.
Well, to get a capture card for a Mac is pretty expensive.
Yeah,
because you can't just slot it in. You need like a PC to be able to slap in a capture card. But yeah, you can get them for the Mac, but they are expensive. So, oh well. So yeah, okay. So that was episode 40 of the Red Sun Gamer podcast. We'll see you next week. And Kyle has said to me he will be back next week.
Woo!
I've just received a tweet from him. He says, "Sorry, I missed the cast again today. I'll be back next week."
And Mehdi might be here for Metal Gear Solid.
Oh yeah.
I've been talking with him, so we might get a big group.
Oh, because Metal Gear Solid comes out on Tuesday.
That's right.
In the States.
In America, yeah.
Yes.
Hate those guys.
Yes. So he's going to probably get on that. And is he going to download that? He is, right? Or is he going to get... No, he likes boxes, right?
He does like his boxes.
He likes his box. Okay, so yeah. So Mehdi may be on next week talking about Metal Gear Solid on the Vita. Anyways, that's Red Sun Gamer episode 40. Let's go to some of this.
Let's go to some of this.